We have that ready to go, people?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31.
We recording?
Yeah.
Yes.
Review agenda for additional removal or adjustments any items per one VSA 312. Again, anything, Val?
I don't think so.
Okay. Public forum. 5 minutes per person, something that's not on the agenda you'd like to speak briefly about. Anything? No? Department head roundtable. Why don't we start with Sharon? I saw Sharon here and Chris, so Sharon, go ahead first.
We processed 767 absentee ballots today through the tabulator.
Wow.
They're still rolling in. So I think it's gonna be a sizable turnout.
Great. Are people asking for the local? Or
Yes.
being given to the local?
Yes,
Good.
they are. Some of them have asked for them, but
Okay.
I think a lot of them might come the day of.
Yeah.
So,
They want to see you.
yeah. And then, November 15th is tax day. It's a Friday. We will be open and I will advertise that we are open. So those are the big things going on right now.
Great.
700.
767. And I probably have
And a
another,
regular election, we're usually around 800-900.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good.
Including, I know,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
Christopher, you-
Last week I spent most of the week reviewing, healthcare options. Healthcare's going up.
No
and-
surprise.
Yeah, so comparing, Blue Cross and MVP, have most of it figured out. I sit down with the employees next and try to come up with a game plan of which way to go with this.
Do we do both or do we do one of them?
We gotta do one or the other.
Do we choose every year? Or is it just, this is a particularly,
Now, we have an employee who requested that we check it out.
oh, okay. Interesting.
And by doing that, it also allowed us to compare rates and
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
coverages and.
Okay.
but-
Okay. All right. Bruce, you're up there. Brett, you're in the, on deck circle.
Good evening. So for the month of September, we generated 422 incidents. Out of those 422 incidents, resulted in at least citations or arrest of 9 people. Thursday, I think it's Thursday, is Halloween. So I just want to remind everybody that we're going to have an influx of pedestrian traffic. So please be cognizant, drive carefully, and we will be out to try to keep things safe. And that's
Is
all. I got.
Pleasant Street gonna be closed to traffic?
It depends on the amount of people. If we get the same amount that we did last year, then yes, I'll be closing it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Bruce, for us?
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks,
Brett. And Joe, you're on deck.
Good evening, everyone. Just for everyone's awareness, this afternoon, a statewide burning ban went into effect at 3 p.m. and that will remain in effect through November 11th at 3 p.m. There's just yesterday, there was 2 significant forest fires right here in the state of Vermont, a 15-acre down in Ludlow and a 60-acre in Barton, one of those B towns. But our neighboring states are all experiencing a significant increase in wildfires. So it is extremely dry out there. Don't have a false sense of security because we got a little bit of snow last night in some places. It's still extremely dry, and when you have wind like we had today, it just emphasizes that dryness. So just please keep that in mind.
Wonder if my neighbor knows.
Call 911. We would be happy to respond. So, as of today, your fire department has responded to 115 calls for service this year. So we're right on track to meet our annual quota. It's just amazing how that always happens. A couple weeks ago, we had our annual 5-town food drive. Big shout out to our neighboring fire departments, of New Haven, Moncton, Lincoln, and Starksboro for their support as they all contributed. and also to WVTK or 92.1, the radio station. So this is the second year they have stepped up and done some promoting for us. And on the day of the event, they set up at the fire station and we do some live broadcasts just to generate some interest. So we're very thankful for that. As Bruce noted, Halloween's coming up. The fire department will participate in the trunk or treat down on the park. We'll have an engine and a crew down there handing out candy. Our Conics box training structure, progress continues to be made on that. And we've had an opportunity to use it to some extent. We still have a long ways to go, but just having a place to be able to not be concerned about damaging property, when we're working, whether it's throwing a ladder against the side of it or crawling around and smashing the walls with an axe or a Halligan bar. It's just super exciting. It's one of a kind and it's going to get a tremendous amount of use. So, other than that, just business as usual. So pending any questions from you all, that concludes my report.
Okay,
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
thanks, Brett. Jill, mark you guys listers all.
Howdy. So winterization has begun for the water system. The blow-off is open at Sargent's. The water is shut off to the rec stand. The water is shut off at the fountain at the rec department. There will be a re-winterization of hydrants. Just pumping them out and putting the pink stuff into them again. I don't know that any of them were necessarily exercised, but it's just a precautionary since the plugs are specifically in all the new hydrants. So if any water came into the bodies of them and if it doesn't get pumped out, they could freeze. So that's the next step in winterization. We had a new connection happen today on North Street. People were pretty good about obeying the road closed until about 2:45. Then they kind of just ignored it and tried to get through anyways. So that was interesting. The connection went well. The water line is much closer to the edge of the west side of the road than all the drawings and the valves depict. So that was a fun discovery this morning. But it's definitely on the opposite side of the road. We've got continued new applications for water connection requests. So water system just keeps growing and growing. And what else? We submitted our service line inventory to the state October 15th, a day ahead of the due date. Got a response back, just have a little cleanup to do. We'll continue to make updates as we receive more information on the 67. I've actually gotten 3 since the 15th that will get added in. And we'd like to be at 100% known, at least on the customer side. The town side will be a lot easier to know when we're digging up half of the water lines in the town. We'll be able to see the other side of those. What else? Yeah,
Jill,
that's pretty much it.
Jill, can you send an updated list for your stragglers to us?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Just so we
yeah.
can see.
Yes. I have to ask the state if they'll unlock the version. So what happened is their spreadsheet is locked, so I can't like sort or filter or do anything with it. It makes it really frustrating. So if I can get them to unlock it,
Okay.
then I can send it. If I can't get them to unlock it, which makes it a really hard document to work with, I think I'll be able to talk them into it. I did earlier. So yes, maybe within the next 2 to 5 days, depending on if I can talk their IT person into unlocking it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay. Mark, you guys want to give us a thing or do you want to wait till number 5?
We'll wait 2 years.
Okay.
Place on the agenda.
Alrighty. I don't have Eric on, right? Eric's on vacation again this week or
No, he's back, but he did report that Briggs Hill Road is likely to be closed either tomorrow or Wednesday. It's definitely planned for Wednesday, but if the lower light is also out of juice, then they're just gonna take it down.
Okay.
Because they have to keep propping them up with the generator. And they did that yesterday for the upper light, and it looked like the lower light was gonna be next, but they'll just take it out if it's done.
Okay. Alrighty. I think that's it then. Department heads. Okay, regular business, continued consideration of access permit application 2024-04 DA for Stan Livingston on Devonall Lane. Any more upkeep?
As folks recall, this is continuation from the previous meeting where there was concern expressed about stormwater management and flooding. And since then, perhaps Peter can give us an update on what is proposed as a,
Eric and I both talked with Stan and Jerry, if you would verify that the main time there's water setting there is when the ground is frozen. So the idea is to dig a shallow trench and fill it with stone and bring the stone all the way to the surface and leave an exposed stone ditch to incorporate the water back into the ground. And that.
So there's already kind of a ditch there. You're just type of digging it.
Yeah, well, what, you
Like
gotta
a
take the
swale or
sod off,
whatever.
off
Mhm.
and let the water get down into the sand.
Okay.
So it'll.
So they'll take the
disappear.
sod off, fill that with the gravel. So
Which-
the level of what the sod was, or you're saying even up higher?
He's gonna go higher.
Okay.
Is he gonna go 6, 7 feet of stone or just taking the sod off and put stone?
Probably a couple feet down.
'Cause it's
And
so doesn't
then up
freeze.
whatever he ends up raising
Mhm.
the front lawn.
Is that gonna be, does the driveway go across where they're
Yes.
gonna do that? So it's gonna be that whole front section?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
which
there'll be
is,
a
which is
culvert
mainly where
under
I've
the-
seen them.
No.
There's no culvert under
Eric
the
didn't
gravel?
propose a culvert now because there's no, all the culvert's gonna do is equalize the water,
Right.
but should the need arise to put one in, he will put one in later.
Okay, so you talked about it with Eric and then Stan is okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
and Jerry's nodding his head.
Yeah, Eric, when I sent out that email to all of you about the stuff, he sent back that that's what you were talking about. So it sounds like you know what you're doing, so it sounds like it's a.
Somebody-
We hope
I wouldn't
so.
go quite that far, but.
Okay,
It sounds like a good plan. is
Yeah,
what you're
It is a
saying.
plan, and if it, if it doesn't work, we'll.
Figure
Okay.
something else.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Said he's willing to address it afterwards if it doesn't
Okay.
work.
Sounds good.
all right,
Okay.
excellent, that's great.
Just thank you for all your consideration and looking into
Sure.
this and trying this out.
Okay,
Yeah,
Of course.
so
Of course.
we didn't sign that last time.
Right now,
So
I'll make a motion, we approve the driveway access permit per EBW's recommendations and the additional ditch.
second,
okay, there's a motion and a second. Any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Okay, thing, ayes have it. Okay, consider request to plant a memorial tree on the town green in the place of a dying ash tree.
So in my report, I outlined the information we have available, that it's a tree that is due to come down anyway and is proposed to be replaced with a memorial tree. I don't know what species has been selected, but there's a photo in the material that was provided that shows where it's intended to be located, right next to the tree to be removed.
Next to it.
I missed that. I was looking.
Yeah, it's on the last page. the
Yeah,
two
it's very,
photos.
very close to it. It's a little bit further towards the end of
So
the
we'll-
sidewalk.
Not only cut the tree down, we'll take the stump and put the tree there
Yeah,
in
I
that
presume,
vicinity.
yeah, and the tree warden has approved this and supports the proposal.
Okay, so I have a question. It says a memorial tree, so is it in memoriam for somebody or?
I don't know the details. Meredith had planned to be here to help us.
Yeah, is it for somebody or is it a memorial tree like we used to have where they did the lights?
Well, that's what I was asking. This isn't replacing the tree we put the lights on every
No.
No, I
holiday
think this
season.
is to remember somebody,
Okay.
I think.
But we can approve the tree and then approve
Yeah.
the plaque
In any-
later.
But the question is, doesn't matter.
Right, it's a tree.
It's a tree.
Yes.
I don't
It's a tree
know.
where there's a dying tree.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the only reason I ask is because we had approved one prior for them to remove a tree and put another tree in the place. So this is not the same
It's
tree.
different.
No. different
Okay.
tree. And this one definitely needs to come down.
Different
Well,
tree.
I guess
Got it, but
I'll ask the question is, so let's say somebody came in 6 months ago and said, we don't want any dying trees. So I won't say they went on a list because we don't have a list, but they kind of missed the boat, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a limited capacity of
So
what's available in the town.
I guess,
I guess like-
I see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, how do you decide who gets a tree in
Right.
memoriam and who
'Cause-
doesn't?
our rec director knows there's a tree dying, so we're gonna take it down. So I just,
Right.
if somebody had come in 8, 10 months ago and wanted to put a tree and we said, sorry, we don't have any,
Right.
our policy is.
We began a conversation about
I'd
this
like to know
type
if we
of
did have
topic
somebody come in.
a while back. because we've had memorial requests for other things, and in other places,
Benches.
benches or a
Yeah.
boulder or other things and other locations than the town green. And some communities have policies about that and where they can be located, who's responsible for them, because they become additional infrastructure that the town ultimately is responsible
Right.
for, ultimately, presumably. So, and then, and as you mentioned, there's only so much that any particular place can accommodate before it's too crowded or there's just no more space available. So how do you pick? So there is no policy, but at this point, it's mainly first come, first serve.
Didn't they ask for a memorial tree for Laura?
Yeah, and that's been planted.
And that has been planted.
Yes.
okay.
That's the one
That
that
was the
I was
last one
talking
I
about
did.
before. I
Okay.
believe.
And I believe the evergreen memorial tree is still going to
Alive.
stay where it is.
Is it still
gets
alive?
replaced every year. It gets replaced with a seasonal tree every year.
Oh,
There's a shaft that it gets
Yeah.
placed into
Oh,
and then
okay.
removed at the end of the
it
year.
used to be a life.
It used to be a live tree.
Yep,
yeah.
that didn't work out.
Yeah, there's the,
Okay.
I'm always in favor of a tree. So let's go for it.
I just didn't wanna, somebody who left maybe 6, 8, 10 months ago and said, now I couldn't plant a tree. And my memory of someone that they wanted done,
Right.
and then.
We don't,
They might have to
We
wait
guess
for
I'd
a
like
year
to
till the
know-
next tree
I'd like
dies.
to,
we don't have plaques out there, do we?
no, and I'm not in favor of a plaque, I know.
not for trees. We've done it on benches.
Yeah.
I think in terms of your question, I think it's purely a timing thing. I think it's kind of random. I mean, one thing we could do is create a database and start a list of that. And
Well, that's
revisit
where I'm
that,
going with that.
which we could
And
do.
I don't
mean,
wanna create another big thing, but it's just that,
yeah,
just a list
sure.
that said, you know what, we've got 3 in front of you. Cause they came in 2 years ago, a year ago, and 8 months ago.
Mhm.
And so.
If it's specifically tree, we have in the project management system under Public Works, we have a trees project because we're going to be doing a lot of planting and we have grants and things like that. So we could create a thread in there which could record people's, if we did have requests, we could put it in there and then that would be in a
just show
specific
the-
area.
The
Yeah,
meeting time and the time of year they came to a select board meeting
Yeah.
and asked, we said, sorry, at this time, there's no tree
yeah.
spot available.
Right now, we don't really have a waiting list. We don't have people
Okay.
standing in line for this.
No,
Do we know how that stump's being removed?
All I know is what's in that report.
Okay. Cause I.
Like, is it going to be ground, you mean?
Yeah, I
Sidewalks
would think being an ash, the roots are definitely under that sidewalk.
Mhm.
So if it's dug out, they have to be careful not to.
Oh, I see. Take the sidewalk out.
Yeah. Cause if you hook onto that and just pull, the sidewalk's gonna come up too.
And then they're gonna be fixing the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Well, then you can put the memorial plaque in the concrete.
Always thinking ahead.
That was one step ahead.
what is your thoughts, people? What do you wanna do here? You wanna wait till, we know, that doesn't matter the person, or just do it?
I don't think it matters.
No, I don't think it matters
I
either.
think, that's part of the inclusiveness of Bristol. We shouldn't have to know anything about who it is in order to be able to.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree that we can replace the tree.
Yeah.
You won't say I'm agreeing to the memorial.
No,
Memorial, yeah.
Names on the park,
Right.
aside from the memorial itself, or.
Yeah.
The
So
Legion.
I'd make a motion to accept the proposal, the stipulation that for this time, it's just the tree replacement. And that if a plaque or something else is requested, that needs to come back to us.
It can be replaced in somebody's memory.
Yes, but if
There's no plaque at this
yeah,
time.
if it's something in addition to the tree, we'd want to know a little bit more information about it.
And I second.
There's a motion and a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say, okay. Number 3, consider appointment of 2 candidates to fill the 2 library trustees vacancies. Darren Kleinfelder?
Kleinfelder.
And Elaine?
Ileana.
Ileana Kleinfelder. Okay, I guess you guys are here. All right,
Yep. Yeah, moved in off of Thomas Drive just about a year ago. Really looking forward to start giving back to the community. We fell in love with the town, moved here from Williston. And really excited to sort of get the ball rolling, have amazing neighbors, who introduced us to this possibility, and we figured that we put our hat in the ring, or, yeah.
Okay. Has this been advertised, Jessica? You're on the board. I mean, you're the board's representative to.
No, I think this was previous recruitment efforts because there were 2 openings that were vacant for a long period of time.
When you say long, how?
Since before we started, so since before January, right?
There have been a few vacancies and then recently 2 people resigned, which created a more urgent need. I joined the board last November, and then I was voted in March, and I was new on the street and was speaking to them about the board because I thought it was a great way to get involved. And he works in finance and IT, and she's an HR person, and those are both skill sets that the board could really use. One of the people that recently resigned was the treasurer, so.
Okay, and you do know this would only be till March.
Correct.
Okay. How do you guys feel? I mean, I guess it's husband and wife, right? How do you feel about that?
I question that, but I think there's nothing in the policy, as far as we're aware, in terms of library trustees, that it can't be a husband and wife. And I actually don't know what our policies are for our town boards and stuff, yeah. So, yeah, I don't have an issue. And I think because it's a short period of time, and it's a voted position, so it's up to if you decide you like it and want to do it again, you'd obviously need to get a petition for that to be put on. And then it's up to the voters of Bristol.
Yeah, and I don't see any problem. I don't necessarily think a husband and wife will vote the same. They all vote their interests, right?
Experience working for the same company. So we worked for the same company for 4 or 5 years.
No bias.
They're able to be individuals.
Yeah.
Right.
I just brought it up.
Yeah, no, it's good. I had the same thought too. Because usually we don't see that.
And some spouses are married and have different names and you wouldn't know.
Right.
That's
So-
true.
Well, he made an exception, they were husband and wife. I was gonna say, it could be brother and
That's-
sister.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Okay,
I move that we approve the appointment of the 2 candidates.
second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the 2 candidates. Any more questions for the candidates or for the board members? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Hi,
Opposed? Abstained?
welcome aboard.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you
for
very
your
much.
service.
Thank
Yes.
you.
My condolences.
You can't run now.
Well, they can run in
Yeah, I
March.
know.
Number 4, we're gonna wait till 7 PM, so we'll go to number 5. Selection of Tyler Technologies for a townwide reappraisal consultant and of authorization to proceed. Mark, will be our listers, and I did see the other 2 listers are here with us.
Yeah, and you received information online and.
And Mark will be happy to go first before the 7 o'clock meeting.
Yeah. With some background information.
Yeah, you don't have to hang.
Yeah, it's riveting here.
Oh, no, you gotta stay. That's part of the appointment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
40 years of school board meetings.
All right, listers, come forward.
So while they're getting organized, I can just briefly say that we received 3 responses to the RFP. The deadline was last month. I think one of the responses was kind of eliminated as not responsive, and so they evaluated 2 and have presented their basis for recommending Tyler.
Did you just give a recap?
I did.
A quick recap, yes.
My hearing is into the back, and so I'm hearing.
Gotcha.
So yes, the process for doing a reappraisal began sometime in the summer. And kudos to Valerie, who kind of provided some good guidance along the way in terms of format and edification of the final proposal. And so they went out with a due date of September 19th. We put it on the state bid site, I should say. Valerie did. That was her, that one she helped out with. And 3 bids were received. The first one on the list, 2 reasons we didn't even go any further into the details of it was, one, significantly more than the other 2 bids. And secondly, it would require a shift in software. We've been using Nemrick, which is Microsoft, and Camma. And at this point, we felt that, that was not a road we wanted to go down. So then we focused on the two remaining bids. Nemrick, who did the last bid, which was completed in June of 2018, just before I came on board. And then Tyler Technology. Tyler is a new player for Bristol, from what I can find out. And of course, the big piece for us is trying to get, is the timeliness of getting this reappraisal done. If Tyler's or Nemrick's agenda called for it to be similar to the same timeline as Tyler, probably our recommendation would have been different. But Tyler is finishing up the reappraisal just about the time that Nemrick would have started. And that was appealing to us. We tracked sales because we have to validate sales with the state. You know, did somebody, pick on Michelle for a minute, she sells her house to her daughter. And well, that's not a straight sale in their eyes, so.
Well, maybe.
Arm's length.
Well, maybe.
You don't know Michelle very well.
That's right.
Didn't nobody get the deal.
So, but,
Non-arm length.
the not an arm length transaction. So, but to go back to shortly after we came out of the pandemic, we were seeing homes selling for 40, 50, 60, and some more than 100% that what we had assessed. And feeling that, and that trend has continued. We're beginning to see it come down a little bit. Interest rates are coming down. That novelty, if I can call it, of moving to Vermont because low numbers in terms of COVID, and who knew the term Zoom in early 2020? Nobody. But now it's a new terminology that's no longer new. So anyways, that all being said, we feel that our recommendation, my distinguished colleagues Patty and Doug, is to recommend Tyler primarily due to the time frame that they will start this process in about a year from this coming March, with boots on the ground by July 1. And the other piece that I like about it is that the plan is that they'll wrap up by August 1st of the next year. So all of the changes that they make, they go and visit the homes, and all the changes will occur within the 1 year that we're looking at. And whereas Nemrick is taking 2 years, they would start July 1 of 2027 with an ending date of June 30th of 2029. And it just pushes it out there. That would make a total of 11 years between our reappraisals. And the unfortunate, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but the state came down with some new regulations in terms of as we fall further and further behind between actual and what is on the books, that many communities in the state are in the same predicament. And so there's a long line of towns that are seeking reappraisals or on a list with either Tyler or another firm. So, okay. So anyways, I'll stop talking. I'll happy to answer any questions if I can.
The only thing I'll say, I find it very interesting. Tyler Technologies does the judicial e-filing for all the court systems in the state of Vermont. So there must be a subsidiary of the same, which is really weird.
Well, in school finance, Tyler is a key player in New England with school payroll and AP.
So they got their hands dipped everywhere.
Yeah.
Just a question I have, Mark. So you guys did your due diligence. If we approve this, before we approve this, you called the towns that they've appraised, and what was their?
I've called a couple and they have not gotten back to me. So that's.
I can remember when I put it out in '98, somewhere about then when I was in there. And I had them give me every town they've done the last 5 years. And I started calling, and there was some towns that said if they were coming to the store again, they won't, they're not Tyler. I'm talking some other companies. They said wouldn't hire them, but even
I know
That's what I wanted to know if you-
with some individuals, and I'm not gonna name names or companies, but they would say that, we would not want that person back in our office.
Right.
And, but I have not heard that about Tyler. I can speak their, response to my other life, and the letters of recommendation that were included with their RFP proposal, certainly, seemed to code well for them.
Sharon, you got a question?
Yeah, I don't know if he said it or not, but what's the, proposed fee?
202.
202?
202,200, and Nemrick was 189,600.
And that's for when they do it, 2 years or a year and a half from now, whatever it is.
Nemrick's proposal, you would start paying, basically,
Right.
every
Right.
month. I think it was 7,900 over the course of 24 months. Tyler, their proposal, stipulates upon signing of the contract, a down payment of 15%, which is roughly about $30,000. In conversation with the gentleman who would spearhead this, reappraisal, who lives in Bridport, that he said that's, we can certainly talk about that, but my experience is when I get a proposal, you tell me what you're gonna do, and don't tell me, after we act upon it, maybe we can look at it, but, I've had too many vendors say, oh, well, don't worry about that, then you should have put it in the proposal, and, so they
Okay.
work from that premise, so.
So what is it, for the reappraisal, what does it actually look like, in terms of people here in the office, or is it mainly just field work that the company is doing? How often do they work with you, the group of the three of you?
Two things, that's a good question, Ian. Two things will happen. One, it was clearly spelled out with Tyler that they meet monthly with the three of us.
Okay.
To where are we at and that type of thing. And the other piece that I was favoring Tyler is that they schedule their own appointments and their inspections. Now, that's not to say that probably are we gonna get phone calls from people who, Doug and I grew up in this town and, close to 150 years between us. Yeah, they probably will call us and say, hey, who's this, this person calling me? Patty, she can cover the notch, because she's pretty well covered up there. But as far as our field work, doing inspections that we're doing now, going out, a couple homes going up on North Street where the water issue is, we're going up, measuring those, taking our photos and upgrading it until March 31st of 2025, and we will close the books on those homes and others just like them. We won't be doing that, because the last thing either one of them want is us to be out there and then say, wait a minute, somebody was just here last week, and it was Doug and Mark, and what are you folks in here? So, but where I would see an increase in our time is probably answering phone calls and messages that we're gonna have to get back to. We're not here 8 hours a day. We come in and have 4 or 5 messages. That's where probably we're going to see an uptick in our time.
We may go out with them in some instances,
Okay.
but not.
And sometimes that's good, because people might know one of us and say, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, go ahead. And obviously getting inside is a more, going to give us a better picture. And that's not always easy to happen, so.
Okay. It's here, you got a question?
Great.
Who's doing the entry into Nemrick? You or them?
They are,
So we'll have to give them access.
yes.
Or will they have their own,
They have to
download
put,
it all
they
at
have
the
to
end?
put it in, yeah.
That's what they did.
We did a lot of
when
it.
we did it.
They will
We
not
did a
run
lot the last time when Nemrick did it.
they will not run a parallel system. That was a question I asked. I said, will you be entering everything and then transitioning? And they said, no, that our experience says that's not a good model to follow.
And they have the experience with like the downtown, plazas.
Another component, not to say that Nemrick wouldn't do it, but it was clearly stated by Tyler that their senior appraisers will be involved with all commercial property.
Okay.
And,
That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty, anybody got any questions for Mark or the other listeners, Doug and Patty?
Yeah, that's
I'll
good.
make a motion, we select Tyler Technologies
Second.
And authorization to proceed.
and authorization to proceed.
There's a motion second to hire Tyler Technologies to get going. Any more questions for them? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Is there any chance they might start earlier? Did they?
They have not alluded to that. I will
So they'll start in
respond in
March.
writing tomorrow to
March
all
of
three.
26.
March, yeah. March
26.
So about a year from
And then they'll be done.
of this coming March.
And we'll have a grand list to Sharon to do the taxes by
2027,
28.
27, 28.
27,
That's the
28, yeah.
schedule.
So 27, 28. No, it'll be to her by the following August of 27, so we can set a grand list.
August 1st of 2027, they are done and in the books.
Yeah, but that grand list won't be until 20.
Well, if it only takes them a year from March to March, and they have all the.
Then you got
No, that was March
It should
to
be ready
August.
for- Because
There will
it has
be-
to be done before April 1st.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, is that,
So if we can get that grand list lodged by September 1st, I mean, we're gonna hear grievances before that. It's, but then they'll have to make adjustments.
so they'll have be done by August of 27.
Right.
And we're assuming that there will be many grievances.
I bet you won't beat my old record, 93.
Well, no, you have to feel like.
No, I wasn't on the list. I got appointed in 93. We only had 575 grievances.
So it'll really be 20.
250, that's the state board of appraisals.
Seven.
More
No,
Well, that
grievances.
is 28 because you
250
can't do the
went to
grand list
BCA.
all over the year.
All right, I got a motion. Second.
Okay,
So,
so
Because the grand
motion
list has to be
get
done.
Get it, is there, all those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
We already did that.
We did that.
But I do have a question. So if they finish the August 1st of 27, you submit the grand list, you've done all your grievances, you submit the grand list. Do we set the tax rate on that grand list that summer, or does it wait until the following year?
No,
Well, you set the tax rate in September of this year.
Well,
I know
this
that
year
was
it
a
was
little
only because of the school budgets. Normally it's August.
no, it'll be for,
Well, we usually, the end of August.
End of
beginning
August, yeah.
September, and it's whatever is on record as of April.
You may have
April
to get
1st.
it.
That's what I was thinking. If
Whatever.
it's on record as of April 1st of 27,
Right.
We
so
got
we, that grand list, that new grand list won't be until
The next year.
No,
April
it'll be
28,
that,
or
no,
it'll be
it'll be
that?
for that year.
Okay,
for that.
that's what I was
It'll be
trying
for that
to,
year.
that's what I
You
was trying to
probably file
understand.
for a
Because
30-day
when
extension,
we
maybe
close
60,
those
60 or 90.
this year,
So we
and
did
then you
93.
get your reappraisal, you built a new garage, you say, we're grieving that, and we make an adjustment.
Mhm.
That adjustment is going to be factored into your upcoming taxes. So even though we closed everything on March 31st, you still have an opportunity to grieve that.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And
Thank you.
Valerie,
Thank
I
you.
thank you publicly for all your help. It was a godsend. It's been a long time since I wrote bids and so.
Okay, number 4, back to number 4.
Ken Wilson used to say, "You're welcome to stay."
You're welcome to stay.
You are welcome to stay.
I went to another select board meeting.
Okay.
Good night, thank you.
Special town meeting, public information meeting, proposal amendments to the Unified Development Regulations and the bond vote for the Bristol West Waterline Replacement Projects.
So we don't have a presentation to offer for attendees or viewers. All of the documents that are relevant are on the website in 2 different locations. And there have been previous presentations. So I guess it's mainly if the select board has anything they want to present, or if others have anything they want to present, or any questions that folks
I
might
don't
have.
have any.
Does anybody have any questions?
Does anybody in the audience first or on Zoom second? Have any questions on the water line vote or the development review or regulations?
So this really is an opportunity for the select board to provide more information if it's warranted, or for citizens to ask questions. And there'll be another opportunity on November 4th.
And I think the last meeting, we went over the UDR stuff,
Yeah.
and
We beat
Steve
that up.
presented the West Street.
And we've
Or
had
Waterline.
printed copies of the West Street design, the
Right.
Bristol West design plans over here for folks to be able to pick up, and some have.
Yeah, so the one thing for the water bond, the one thing we missed was our language for our previous bond specifically said how it was being paid for, which we missed this time. I went back and looked at it because I was curious. And so in our original bond, it specifically said that it's paid for by the water district. And so I want to make sure that people understand that even though it's a town-wide vote for the bond, the payment of the bond comes from the water district users, not the entire town.
Correct.
Which I've already had to tell a handful of people.
It was, I went back and looked at our original one from 2 years ago, and it was on there. And
It's
a
not
single
on this
line,
one?
we missed it.
That's
But
weird.
we
because
talked about it.
I copied it
I
from the
know,
other one.
I know, somehow it got moved, but it's fine. I mean, but I just want to make sure that people understand that, and hopefully, Sharon will field questions regarding that.
Sharon will make sure it's on the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have that discussion at the last,
We did.
the meeting that we were
Yeah.
doing this because I was
And we,
like.
and we did a
all
little
wanna
bit of
be clear.
wordsmithing, but it's,
Yeah.
I went back. And I've been posting on Front Porch Forum, both for
I think-
the full information in terms of voting with your general election ballot, as well as our local, and also breaking it out to just local so people understand as well.
I think that, and I do appreciate you putting it on Front Porch Forum, but I think that maybe Sharon I'm gonna say for the next 5 days, put it on there, just a reminder. Put that ballot on Front Porch Forum, because it's coming from,
No, you
you're
can't,
the
I don't think you
election.
can put the ballot on there.
No, you can't, but
Yeah.
the language, it says this, even though this language says this, it's being borne by the water users and not by the whole town of Bristol taxpayers.
Only if the water district disbands.
Only,
Then it
and
would
then
be-
you can say that.
Well, we
Because
can-
as you told us last week, you're the elected official, you run the elections. And not to say Ian's been putting it on there, and that's good, but I think if it came from the election clerk. or
Came from the office.
Came from the office, I think it would be better. Didn't mean that, no disrespect, Ian.
Well, I put it under the select board member.
Yeah, I did, I saw that.
Yeah. And we could also, with that post, we could update it. We can't change the actual
No, you can't.
language,
No,
but
no.
we can do
Keep
an
that
asterisk.
reminder going out.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you just parsed it down a little bit. It's, I know you can't parse down the words, but if you could parse down make it reminder that this is the vote.
You can see it.
You have the water vote, details are in.
Yeah, and you're also, they also truncate now in the emails, so you have to click through to go to the website. I know, because you're even more limited now. Yeah, we can do that. We can make it shorter.
Jill just said something in the chat and I just turned it.
John, something about moving number 10, which is your thing.
Oh,
Well, that's, what did she say?
Move number 10 to the next position. Yeah. So that would be up to you.
That's mine. I was just gonna go down. You mean she wants me to read that one now?
Well,
No,
only
just
because we're
move
talking.
it to after this discussion.
Oh,
I don't know that it really matters, honestly.
unless she needs to
She
sign
would need
off.
to go, yeah.
I mean, the only other thing is we do have Darlene from Nemrick
Right.
online with us.
right.
So-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although, I mean, if number 10 will be quick, then maybe it makes sense.
Michelle, go ahead. And if you guys wanna move it, I don't care.
Do you want to move it? I mean, we didn't change this in the beginning, so,
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to inspection. You didn't move it and
I mean, it's not an
Darlene's
addition,
waiting
we're
for
just moving it, but
Oh, there's no harm if everybody's agreeable.
Yeah.
What's
Now,
the,
Richard, the
We're gonna
public
finish
part
the
is
hearing?
over.
we gotta close the hearing. I'm gonna close the hearing in a minute, so.
Mhm.
We got any more, but if I close the hearing, then I'd rather you just stay on the agenda.
yeah, let's just leave it where it is.
Okay, so there's no more questions on the special town meeting for the Unified Development Regulations or the bond vote. I'm gonna close, there's no motion made, so I'm gonna close the special town meeting public information. Not hearing any more, no hands are up. Nobody out there? Okay.
yeah, and we'll have one more informational meeting too,
Right.
which we could go through in
Number 6.
greater detail.
Mhm.
Presentation of proposed consolidation and other adjustments to the Bristol's accounting structure and budget process. Nemrick and Chris Perley. Darlene from Nemrick is on Zoom. So Chris, if you'd like to.
So do you want to try to share screen or to go through some of the, to illustrate?
I don't know. What do we want to show? Is it just the PDFs that Chris
Right,
Yeah.
the expense and the
Revenues and
revenues.
expenses.
Okay. Darlene's here, what's wrong?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Darlene.
You're muted. And long and short of it, Darlene's gonna drive.
Okay.
A lot of this came from the recommendations coming from them, between Darlene and Chip. And with some input from us and the direction we wanted to go, and I'll let her, roll.
Okay.
Chris, do you have it on your desktop and maybe we should remote in and I can open it and show you?
They're gonna share it out.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Or do you want to share screen?
Yep, I can do that too.
Yeah, you
So
should just be able to,
I don't think she's a co-host.
doesn't matter.
Does it?
Nope.
We're wide open. Anybody can share.
Whoa.
I changed that, which I told you all.
So you
Because there were certain.
Just now.
I told people before.
So whenever you're ready, Darlene, you should be able to share.
This is how the school board got in trouble.
Remember, we had a hijack early on in the process.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
woo.
I let everyone know, and then we talked about this.
I don't remember this, but okay. I think he likes to tell us.
No,
He's
I told
told
everyone,
us
and
stuff.
actually I emailed everyone.
Okay.
It was
All right.
because of one of the other committee.
Hey, Darlene, could you zoom in just a couple clicks on that for me? Down in the lower right.
Lower right, got it. Thank you. 1, 2.
Yeah, that's good. Now we can read it from
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Okay. So this is just we took your backup. You back up to us every evening, and so I downloaded a backup of yours a couple weeks ago. So don't focus on the numbers, right? Because they're not going to be what currently is sitting in your financials. So I don't want you to focus on the actual numbers. We're kind of focused on the grouping and the flow of your financial records, just so that you don't get worried about what you're seeing of that. And so it's
So wait,
That's not what I got.
before we start, yeah, we don't have what you're showing on the screen. We don't have a copy of that.
Which one is that?
We have the one that says revenues, and then we have our
Expenses.
income, and one that says expenses.
Did I
yep.
not
So
send
this
them?
is
Yeah.
your balance sheet. We're gonna start
Okay.
here so
Yeah.
that you can understand how that goes into your budget status report of your revenues and expenses.
Okay.
Okay, so that
Got it.
we can understand why I did what I did and the flow of how your financials look. And then I may show you, what you currently have so you can understand. I feel this is a better flow of your financial records, but so all of this is done on data that I have. It's not done live in your system. My thoughts are get everyone's input, again, talk with Sharon and Chris a little bit more, and then your auditors come in a couple weeks and we can run any thoughts before we do the final mass change of accounts. So one big thing was you were carrying this National Bank of Middlebury Grant and Capital bank account as 45 different bank accounts throughout your financials when it's one bank account at the bank. So it makes it hard to see exactly what is in what money the town has when it's not one cash account running all that money through it, which is true fund accounting, where the revenues and the expenses get recognized to who they belong to, but the cash stays in one account. So that's one thing that I had done. So this is just trying to be a little more consistent with how things are labeled. I didn't make a lot of changes to your assets in your balance sheet anyways. Your liabilities, I moved your accounts payable up. They were way down in your liabilities. Accounts payables, the top of your liabilities, usually not way down in. You had multiple lines for FICA, Medi, and state withholding that gets all reported on one form. It doesn't need to be separated out. So I consolidated that to just federal tax payable. State, of course, is separate, and then your retirement to the state as one account, and then the 457 plan you have for employees as one account versus multiple accounts based on what plan they choose. You don't need to worry about that in your financial records. It's better to, you do it with the vendor, but not in your records. There's no point in putting multiple liabilities on your balance sheet. So kind of just moving through this. These clearing accounts are how NEMRIC moves money from one program to another. So those kind of sit in the middle to the end of the balance sheet. And then some of this we got to clean up. I'm not sure what exactly all of it is, or why you have it. Like, I don't know why you have a credit card payable. So we'll go into those nitty gritties when I talk with Christian and Sharon. Some of those counts I don't think need to be there. So then you're coming down to basically your fund balance. For some reason, you had designated conservation reserve fund balance on its own. That's a little unusual. So again, I'm not clear what was proposed at town meeting for that, to see why it's sitting all by itself in your balance sheet. Anyways, so these are always the important figures to look at in your balance sheet, right? Your fund balance, prior year fund balance, and then your current year fund balance to give total fund balance in the town. So that's, those are the important pieces of your balance sheet. So what I'm seeing and that what I'm proposing to change is, so first, your landfill, it doesn't look like that's in service any longer, but it holds a negative, it holds a deficit, right? It needs to be cleared out. So I got to check on this current year, but so here, this money the general fund needs to give money to this fund, and then this fund can be closed. There's no activity, there's no point in keeping this open and on your books.
Do we have a second account for, because we do have activity at the landfill. We do have charges every year.
Right.
Because we have to do.
Post-closure monitoring.
Yeah.
There's a line item in the,
So.
But that sits in your general fund.
yeah.
And this is the day-to-day operations of the landfill, and I have not seen any activity when I look through your records of this fund in over 2 years.
Darlene, a question.
There better not be anyway.
Could that $2,300 or $2,900 it was for the landfill fund that's negative, could that been, because it's been closed for 4 or 5 years now, at least minimum?
At least 7.
7,
Yeah.
seven,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Could that been post-closure payments to
Right.
the liability company, so they didn't have anywhere other, they took it out of the general, but they applied it to the
So miscoded.
miscoded.
I don't know,
Instead of writing a check,
it was
before
on
they
your
write a
audit
check.
as well. So basically we need, at some point when we get through this, we need permission for Chris to make an entry to, basically you're gonna have to take and expense it in the general fund and give this fund revenue to close it out. So it's gonna be an impact to your general fund by $2,300.
Well, maybe you didn't understand me. I think I'd like to see an audit of the general fund, maybe that added up to 2,300 for the last 7 years. They've been playing the post-closure money.
That's
And they've
probably
already-
1 year of a post-closure bill. That's what we paid
It's
the
probably just one thing
engineer.
that was miscoded.
Yeah, I mean, the hours that you'll pay the
We'll just
Darlene
have
are
to
one
look
of
and
our.
see what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one, as we go through this, so that's a fund that has some issues that needs working on. So your water fund, what was happening here is your water fund had its everyday operations here, and then the projects for the water fund were sitting in another fund. The capital sits in another fund. All your other projects. Water fund for you is an enterprise fund, so that's user fee, not tax revenue. So it should be self-contained. Everything that happens in the water department should be in one fund. So this is partly why there was a major deficit in another fund that I'm not sure anybody was paying attention to or had a clear understanding. So we moved that deficit over to the water fund so that it can be self-contained within the water department. Right? By accounting rules, those are self-contained funds when they're enterprise funds.
I have a question, Darlene.
Yes.
So reserve funds, though, those are voter established, voter approved, separate funds with a specific control. That needs to be separate in some way, though, correct? From the general
Are they
fund.
water reserves?
Yes.
Okay, so they need to sit down at the bottom of the budget status report. But they still are within the same fund. They don't get separated by fund when it's an enterprise fund.
So in other words, the water capital reserve fund would be a 003 something.
Nope, that's a fund balance. So nope, that's sorry, yes, 003 here. I'm thinking 3 in the middle. So yes, it would be on the budget status report, any reserve transfers and any reserves, and then you would have a reserve right here. So I made it a reserve fund balance, right? So it's going to sit separate. This is a fund balance of the day-to-day operations. And then here is the fund balance related to the building reserve that you had for the water. So
how would expenses out of the reserve fund show up there as well? Or is that different?
Not here. They would be sitting in your budget status report, hitting the line items that were for capital.
Okay.
So, but again, everything that happens in this fund so that you can see what, so, you know, what it's saying to me right now is this fund owes the general fund $179,000. So above the 850 that was deficit spent in the other fund, it also owes the general fund $179,000 in cash. So this due to due from is always telling me in all of this analysis what fund owes what money, and that's how I'm tracking whose money belongs to which fund is this due to due from. Right? So when I look at this, there's no cash in this fund because water doesn't hold its own cash. It runs everything through your general fund. But when the expenses are shown correctly in this fund 003 and general fund pays for it, this account is what tells me what's happening. It tells me that I've spent more than I had money coming in to the tune of $179,000. So those are important figures to keep track of. Depreciation, don't worry about that. That's standard non-cash oriented expenditures. So so again, you have some fund balance here. But we also have some negative fund balances and other funds that I think may have to come to this fund. So this year, you've already deficit spent in the water department, $125,000. That's what this would tell me. If these numbers, we have to double check the numbers, but in general speaking, this line item is telling me how you're managing your current budget. So when I,
Okay, so we're saying that we haven't brought in enough water income to pay.
as of today, when I ran this report, you have not brought in enough revenue for the water department.
I don't think we've brought in any really heavy this year. The last week would have been June, and we're just sending out September. Okay. So.
Okay.
So we will bring
So,
it.
so basically they're borrowing funds from the general fund in order to support the water department.
The cash, yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, we just, that 125,000 you said, there is a grant somewhere that we got to, I think it was $95,000, a grant to do all the water inventory for the state,
91.
or $91,000. Where does that figure in? Does that get subtracted from that 125? So we really only spent $34,000 worth of or negative 34,000?
It would if, but I think you have others as we get down through this. You guys have 45 funds. That's a little obsessive. That's kind of crazy. So I think as we get down through this, we'll, there's some
But do you
more
see
we
where
need
I'm
to
going with that?
consolidate.
Do you see where
Yep.
we're going with that? We have the
Yeah,
fund balance
you're absolutely
negative for
correct.
water problem.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. If that water inventory, the expenditures get booked here, that revenue should get booked here, and that would reduce that deficit.
So I guess we'll dive into that in more detail.
Yeah, this is
But-
just a general,
Right, because we also have the water line, the other water line projects and other funding sources for Bristol West that we're currently paying out now on. We haven't gotten the reimbursement yet.
How does that 170 some odd thousand correlate to that 125, or are they even related?
where, I'm sorry?
The
Oh, it's
170
not, they're not even related. So this is related. This is the cash. Well, they're kind of related. This is the cash. Think of the due to do from as the cash pot of the town, right? Who had the general funds holding all the cash? It gives the other funds money or takes from them as bills get paid, and that's what's monitoring who gets cash. So if the general fund needed, well, the general fund wouldn't be able to ask for it, but like say if this fund was a positive 179,000 and it had a project to do, then the general fund would have to give them that cash to be able to spend. They have the right, but right now they've spent more cash than they've taken in over the years, is what that's telling me. So it's something to keep an eye on because it's a chunk. And keep in mind, the loan you just took out is not revenue to the water department. It's cash to the water department, but it's not revenue. It's a note payable. It sits on your balance sheet. Right, down here. There's one of them.
It's not revenue, but it's a loan.
And you also mentioned that this is a accumulation over years. So this isn't just a fiscal year thing, and at the end of the fiscal year, something magic happens. It's accumulation of many years of decisions.
Right, it's fund accounting. You can't cross funds in any transaction without hitting a due to do from, right? So the expenditure goes to 003, the money gets paid out of 001, you're crossing funds, so it has to, the due to do from is the account that makes it an even journal entry or even transaction in the accounting world. You always have to have a debit and a credit. So if you debit the expense in 003 and credit accounts payable or the cash in 001, 003 needs a credit and 001 needs a debit. So that's the due to do from that happens.
Well, we really screwed up.
So that,
No, it's, it's just an education. You're just, like I said, don't sit and analyze tonight. Just a little bit of understanding of what all this means, and then we can dive into this at a later time, but
Do those numbers mean, I just asked Chris, and do those numbers mean that we never had a surplus in the water department?
so
We were thinking we were gonna owe them money.
Yeah.
So you do have a surplus, but we've got to look at other funds. But what this is telling me is my total fund balance, 443, is a surplus right now of budgets being over or under for cumulative years within NEMRIC or your finances, right? You have had a surplus. You have 220 that you're saving for building. So you do have a surplus right now, but we've got to talk about some other funds to see. Right now, you're sitting on a $537,000 surplus. That's what that says to me if we're correct. But of course, you're unaudited. You haven't been, we got to get you through your audit to see what anything they want to change for prior years.
Does that relate to that 179,000?
So keep in mind the 179 is cash. This 537 is how you've managed your budget over the life of your financial records. So a little different. This isn't cash. The 179 is cash. Think of it kind of that way.
You haven't spent. That you didn't spend.
Right, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure, I just
The
wonder.
The 175 is current year, right? That's current, or is that over the
No,
life?
it's a cumulative. It ebb and flows. This 179 ebb and flows as you pay bills, you bill, you take in payments, you pay out, you.
So that's a dynamic number. It's gonna constantly be changing.
Yes, constantly.
But if the water department currently owes the general fund, then that surplus money somehow, that's why I'm asking.
At some point, that surplus money, like you're saving or you're overspending, looks like you've saved a lot over the years versus overspending, affects that. But this is the money that they've had to use above what, and some of it might be because you haven't billed. And if you're deficit spending right now by 125, once you start billing and collecting, that's gonna change that 179.
They're spending like Congress.
So
Once we get our water bills,
Are we-
then we can look.
I still ask the question, are we 125 just in the water department? Okay. And the 91,000 we got a grant for, did that go into the general? Where did that go? Does that subtract from that 195? So it's really.
Yes, it probably will.
Eventually.
So it makes me, don't feel me great, but it makes me feel a little better. We're not 125 in debt. We're only 34,000 in the water department in debt.
yep, so we can see as we go down through these. So police department, we're gonna leave on their own. It sounds like you guys have a little bit of uniqueness with your police. Sounds like some of it is part of it's kind of like an enterprise fund, but some of it's not. So I'm not really clear because most police is part of taxes, but I don't think you guys are. So we left their fund alone, standalone fund in 007.
They are part of taxes, but it's just their own district.
It's a special district.
Right, special district, yeah.
And we don't.
Yeah, so I want to kind of talk with your auditors a little bit more about that to understand, because usually they're part of the general fund. So anyways, we'll leave this here for now. And they're running a slight, so in the prior years, they've had a surplus. They're running a little bit of a deficit right now. If these numbers are all, jiving. So basically, we left record restoration alone because that's Sharon's and she needs to have that separate. That's designated money. She actually does have a separate bank account for that. So we left that bank account showing on the balance sheet there.
So So we're at 45
Recreation.
plus one.
Recreation's a little, so recreation, we tried to, this was another one where you had, every time a new source of income came in, a new fund got created. And that's not really the best practice to keep doing that unless there's real strict rules about that grant reporting. So we decided that we would make one recreation fund for grant related stuff that they will get. The rest of the programs of recreation should sit in your general fund. They're part of the general fund. They are part of 001 and should report that way. So I guess, right now, this is none of this is cash, so all these bank accounts will go away because you don't have all these bank accounts for the rec department. So, and then they'll have a fund balance. And this is one they can use for grant related things they might do in the rec department.
Hold up, Darlene.
Yep.
Darlene, hang on.
Valerie's got a question.
Yeah,
for you.
so related to grants and consolidating these different lines for different grants, most of the grant programs require the ability to produce a budget report through a program like this that shows revenues and expenses very specific to that grant. Will what you're proposing still allow us to do that?
Yep. So what we're gonna do when we take these cash accounts away, the 45 here, and I'll fix this 85. So the 45 is gonna be 016. I'll be able to run reports for this fund by this department. 45 is gonna be the rec department. 016 is gonna be their one of their funds. They also are you're gonna see in the budget status report, they're also gonna sit here in an 001 and their department's still gonna be 45. So that then we can run reports with that department picked out that will give me one page of everything that's revenues and expenses, and we won't have to add 15 accounts together to get that answer.
But if we need to isolate one specific grant,
Yep.
we can do that.
So we can do that by the sub objects at the end here. See 04, 06.
The 04 and the 06s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
I
gonna
see
be
that.
able to
Well,
do
that's
that where
099.
we can drill down and run reports that they correlate with each other, the revenues and expenses.
Okay.
Right now, there's not any that we could see that needed to be separated for any reason. So it's a little harder because there's not a lot to show you, but all these cash accounts need to be eliminated. I just left them on here now to show you that these aren't cash accounts you don't have separate bank accounts. So it's not best practice to keep them as if they will to appear on a financial report that they're separate bank accounts when they're not really.
To Valerie's question, I agree, that's not a bank account, but there will be accounting of that she'll know, okay, they want to know, the health department wants to know how the grant came out for the, for the health class at direct, the hub they're doing. So you'll know
And
that.
you can always run a detailed transaction of
Yeah,
any of these
detail.
accounts to see what went through it, So capital road fund, same thing. You have capital roads, you have capital paving, you had whole bunch of different capitals. I left capital road by itself and capital paving. But we could move paving in here and give them two separate fund balances so that everything related to your roads runs through one capital account. There's no need to break it into two accounts. We would break their fund balances up based on what they have, but we would keep everything in one fund so you could run a report that sees what you have for capital money related to your roads.
And there's also a capital equipment fund, so that would slide in there too.
Yep.
And because those are each voter authorized separately, they have to remain distinct and
They will.
separate.
They will have
Yeah.
their own fund balances.
Yeah.
And they will have their own revenues and expenses. So you'll be able to, at any point in time, see what's assigned to what. It would be capital road assigned to fund balance, capital equipment assigned to fund balance, capital paving assigned to
Oh.
fund balance.
If those three are in there as for accounting purposes, but you could have one fund that says capital DPW, Public
Yep.
Works Fund, Capital Public Works Fund, so. And
So I
there's three.
didn't consolidate those down too much because I knew it was something you just wanted to get used to with highway. So I didn't, but I would recommend that you look to go that way. But I left capital roads out. So what and I'll go get to the other equipment. So you had 3 different funds that belong to these people that left some money to the town. We're talking with Chris, it sounds like it was trustee of public funds money. So I made one fund called that, and each of these are gonna have a distinct, you're gonna see 15 is gonna be Martha Parker, 16 is gonna be this one, and you have the Johnson one also, which I did today, but we were having some problems with Nemrick, so I can't show you. The 17 will be the next one. So all 3 of them will be in this one trustee of public funds and have their own fund balances based on their request to the town.
The A. Johnson Fund is actually a separate bank account. I believe it's a money market account.
So
And I've never seen your statement, so someone needs to get that to us because it's not been reconciled in a few years.
Well, we just barely did it like a year or so
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
It's not that, it's at North Country and the 17,000 one's at M&T. It has its own bank account.
And those are fine.
Everybody out there, if you can hear my voice, we got hacked, so we shut it down and we're back on. And you gotta go into a waiting room and to get approved to be on the meeting. We recognize the name, we'll approve it. If it's from communist China or somewhere else, we probably won't approve it. So Darlene, start in again.
Okay, so we can work on this a little bit more. So this is gonna be the trustee of public funds fund. Instead of having 3 separate funds, we'll just put it and then keep track of it with separate fund balances. And then here's the DPW capital equipment fund. And so this could get moved over, depending on your comfort levels with the paving and road capital.
But there'll still be a separate line there that'll tell us just exactly what's in that fund.
Exactly. Yep.
change
You'll
it
always
down.
have it assigned down below. Nemrick has to close to this fund balance, but then I can work with Sharon and Chris to come up with the journal entries. It's just looking at your revenues minus your expenditures, and that's taking it from the fund balance that Nemrick has to close to the different assigned fund balances. So that happens at the end of the year once the books are closed for the year. So, and then I made just the general fund capital where you're going to keep all of your other capital related stuff here that relates to the general fund of general government operations. So I want to get into the nitty gritty of the budget status, but this is just the balance sheet where I just want to kind of show you what, we made fire department capital. So I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker. Conservation fund, because it's been sitting on its own. I'm not clear that should be, but
The only reason I can think that might be is because sometimes when the conservation fund works with the state to do a purchase, like when they purchase the Fuller and the FAR, they sometimes get money in as a donation to help purchase that property. So I don't know if that's why they.
Okay, so we should look and make sure or see if that was a voter approved
Well, also the Conservation Commission is different from other committees and commissions that we have, right? They're not the same. I believe they're a unique.
Like the planning
Also-
commission or,
I think it's different. There's something connected with the state in terms of conservation.
well, there's a
commission.
separate conservation reserve fund.
No, but it's something to do with the commission itself.
I didn't
Is
think
my,
so,
is
but
my understanding. But
Well, there is a statutory provision that applies to conservation commissions.
Okay.
But it's same with the planning commission, same with the DRB.
Oh, okay.
So it's not different in that sense.
Okay.
I think, if the balance is there
Yeah.
and the money sits somewhere else, I don't see why it
Right.
has to be its own.
Oh,
yes.
separate.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are things we could talk a little bit more about. Here's your reappraisal. That always sits by itself. So, so we're gonna leave that alone. Police.
Hey, we got one right?
Yeah.
Police, we want to keep all of their stuff, I think, together, but I didn't, because I wasn't sure what your preference with the capital for police is. So I kept vehicle out.
Sorry, Darlene, can you go back to that, please, just for a
Yeah.
question from so it says there's 26,857 and change on the capital vehicle or to and from funds. That didn't mean they're running a deficit. Does that mean the tax money hasn't come in to cover that? That's my question for that.
Right. So the cash is owed to the general fund. Last year, they ended the year with a surplus of 12,000.
Okay.
Right now, they've overspent that capital budget by 39,000, so they're in the hole by 26 right now.
That's
That's
probably,
the new car.
the money didn't come out of the capital.
And I just got the $15,000 check from the insurance company for it.
Right, so when that $15,000 check gets posted, it should go to this fund because that's where you spent it out of.
So to that 15,000 question is, so Sharon or Chris deposit that into the general fund and then post it to there's not a checkbook for the police fund.
Right, so they post the revenue, the police capital gets the revenue credit, right? They get to recognize that the revenue came to that fund, but the cash sits in your general fund to use. So that 15 would reduce this.
All right.
So then you got police capital, so that fund isn't being used. So that's one where I was like, is the intent to use it in the future, or can we just get rid of this fund? Are you saving for police capital equipment?
It should be.
That's where we
It tells
put
me
it.
that there's been no activity in it for a couple of years.
So do they have equipment other than vehicles?
Oh, yeah, everything
Yeah.
that goes in the vehicle.
Yeah.
right,
It should be separate.
Radio
Right.
plates, yeah.
radios,
Well,
lights.
Bruce is on, maybe he
Radios,
can
light bar.
answer that.
But you
If they-
don't want to just set up a fund in anticipation of, right? You don't want to set up a fund until you know that you got something to do with it. You don't want to just set up these funds and let them sit there with zero balances for years.
Well, these were voter approved funds years and years and years ago. And there's an annual appropriation to each of them, the vehicle and the equipment fund.
That's not what's been happening because this fund, no fund balance means it had no activity for at least 2 years. So that's not what's happening. If that's what the intent is, that's not what is happening on your financial records. So, and then there's the equitable sharing. Sharon and I have talked about that. So then you have core area sewer that I think is different than your water. So I left that alone. And again, this should be self-contained with all of the reserves also within the sewer fund here, not just not those in separate funds. So sewer and then so the sewer capital should come up here. So I'm going to move that up there. I thought I had done that, but I guess I haven't. So I will move that one. Then the fire department apartments.
Why does that have a separate fund?
I don't know. That's
Which
what's
one?
happening every time somebody
Well,
gets
That was
new
a
money
grant.
in, a new fund got created, so.
it's a large project that had a grant through the Community Development Block Grant Program that requires the municipality to be the applicant. And when we draw down the grant funds, it has to go through a non-interest bearing bank account or account. And then immediately get issued out. So we're a pass through for that one.
So right now, there's still $2,700 worth of cash that hasn't left that account. That's what this is telling me.
That's our administrative fee.
We could have used that.
Oh, yeah.
That we.
So then this fund needs to give the general fund that $2,700.
Could have used that to pay for the wiring that didn't get the lights hooked up,
There you
but then
go.
they broke.
So then you guys are keeping the cannabis control separate. You don't need to. You can put it in the general fund, but right now it's sitting. So that's one fund we can talk about consolidating. And then
Consolidate. I would definitely consolidate the police. It is in the town report, the police. It's a small amount, 3,000 appropriation each year. And there's a fund, but we don't have a plan for it, I think, because it's such small. But I think those two should be together. Makes sense.
So what did SHSO?
State highway
State
safety.
highway money.
That's,
State highway, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so this is overspent by $16,000. So
That means money hasn't been.
yeah, we just got to check
Hasn't
in
been
actually
moved.
today. We actually just got to check with that today.
So if that's related to this, the revenue needs to get booked in the 176 fund. Okay, to reduce this deficit.
Yeah, so it's sitting somewhere, the other one.
So then we left the skate park alone instead of consolidating it with rec. Chris seemed to thought that you guys would want to see that separately. So we left that alone. So historic signage. Are you still?
I saw that in there. I was like, what is that?
So if it's nothing you're doing any longer, let's move. It's a surplus. Move it to the general fund.
Do it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that from putting up the signs on coming in the town, or was that Holly Hall?
No, it's neither of those. It's got a surplus.
Yeah.
So we
It's
can
got
come up.
money that
Yeah.
We can come up with a list.
That's what you said,
Sharon,
we
Chris,
can-
and I.
I'm not gonna just say move it right now until I know.
Right. We're gonna come up with a list after we kind of go through this of what you guys, grants
We're
and
not
aid.
gonna lose it. It just
No.
moves into the general fund and it gets marked.
Right, and then that fund gets eliminated because it's not a fund we're gonna keep using. It's gonna be, and so we're trying to reduce the number of pages of your financial record so you guys don't lose track. Grants and aid usually sits by itself. That's highway related or public works related. So again, I'm gonna delete this paving fund because it's 0. We moved it over. So this 202 doesn't need to be here because it's moved to another fund. Main Street, I don't know what this means. Has a little bit of a. Right,
It's
got-
up there from the big dig. Is that what that is?
I think
Well, I
that's
was thinking-
probably back in the 70s or the 80s.
No, I was thinking maybe the one we just did with the
The streets
replacement
and
of
the
the
lights.
streets, the lights and the.
It could be.
Oh, that
The-
grant.
Yeah, so
Carol?
again,
Yeah.
these are little ones, we're gonna let's do something with them, let's just get them off the books.
Let
They
them
let's move it to the general fund and let
Yeah.
you know that type of thing. Your Vermont structures, that will go away. West Street, so a lot of these are 0, and so I don't know what Stony Hill is.
Oh, yeah, that
Sale
was
of the
the
property.
sale of the
Where
property.
the firehouse and
The
firehouse
firehouse.
apartments
It was
are.
a one-shot thing.
Mhm.
So there's
why
a
is it-
deficit, there's a $13,000 deficit there, so it sounds like the general fund needs to take that deficit on to get rid of to close this fund out. So there's 13,000 deficit that's gotta be
We're
moved.
losing money left and right.
We got $220.
$2,900.
which is actually part of why consolidating these accounts down.
Yes.
Because this, how many pages is this report right now, Darlene?
A lot.
Right now, it's like 23. It was 96. And so I can tell that you guys haven't been getting this or nobody's been paying attention.
No,
Because
we've
it's
never
too
done this.
big, so we're all these that are zeros, I deleted them, but for some reason Chip didn't know why they still reported out on this report. So we're getting to the end here.
We'll never get rid of them. It's like a poltergeist or
So the cemetery will remain on its own. So we're gonna leave.
That's a new one.
Cemetery's a definite for every town on its own. So we're gonna leave that. So AOT Lincoln Street.
Oh, that's Lincoln Road.
Oh, Lincoln Road.
That's the one we just did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't have any money yet from it, do we?
Yeah,
Right,
it's a V-Trans grant project, but we don't have any of the money yet from V-Trans, so.
Hence the negative
Oh my God.
576.
Okay, so you haven't even, have you submitted a requisition for it?
Yes, back in January, and we still
Okay,
haven't gotten
so
money.
that is a problem. That requisition should be posted in your books. You're an accrual method of accounting. That's what you reported. That revenue should already be posted as accounts receivable to offset this. So
Now, to complicate that, I reached out to the V-Trans folks and said, since we haven't gotten the money from January and we're about to submit the next requisition for the rest of the money, do we just ignore, kind of cancel out the January and do a new one with the whole thing all together now? And that's what they asked us to do, to kind of void the January one and just do it all in one final one for that full amount.
Okay, we can't do that in the accounting world. You can do that in your requisition to them, but not, you need to be recognizing that revenue last year on your books because you submitted a requisition to them. And then what you're about to submit needs to be a revenue on the books, right? When you're an accrual accounting method, you need to book those receivables as soon as you bill the funder. And that's the piece that's missing that could make these look a little different than they do.
Yeah,
So
even though
carrying forward a negative $31,000 from last year, and you've added another 544 to it this year.
So, but when you do that, how do you know when you get paid, actually get the funds for that? I mean, if you put it in the books as
it reduces the receivable. It's cash and receivable. Your revenue is recognized when you bill. Then the accounts receivable that sits on your balance sheet gets reduced and the cash increases when you get the payment in.
And if they don't.
You don't recognize it, you are not a cash town. You are an accrual town. So when you bill is when you book revenue. When you pay out, your bills are paid based on calendar year, not when you pay your bills. So when you look at your budget status report, you accrue things that come in July back to June for your prior year audit. It's not when you pay a bill. So you're too big to run a cash basis.
Yeah. So for this particular one, as an example, if we had done this correctly, we would have posted the 20,000 or whatever our first request was. That would be already in here. And then we wouldn't have asked that question. We would have just said, okay, even though we haven't received that yet, we've accrued that. And then we would have just done the difference, the remaining
right,
balance.
and your fund balance wouldn't be so negative, right? So this is where my eyes open, like, is there requisitions being done? And why does your accounting department not know about them? Right? Okay. When I go into a town and I see all this and I know they're an accrual method, I'm like, who's submitting your requisition requests? Often the administrator, town manager is. They need to remember that the accounting department needs those requisitions because they need
that always happens, by the way.
No,
it just doesn't get carried over into this accounting system this way.
Okay, but this is your financial record, so it's gotta. So then You got, elementary
Elementary
drainage.
All
It's got
right,
a
52
little
bucks.
balance. And then your ARPA funds, you got it. Chris and I have talked about that. Sounds like you've made a plan for those. So we've got, when that's decided on, that money's got to get moved to the general fund. And then you have Pine Street expansion's got a deficit, so I'm not sure if all that requisition has been submitted.
That's for the water line.
Yeah, that should be all paid out.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
but we didn't get
deficit
enough
spent.
bucks in here, is the problem.
What's that, Sharon?
Right.
We didn't get enough from the bond for what's in here. So
So
there's gotta be.
Is that the 37? I think it was a different amount, right?
Oh, the water capital is supposed to pay 10,000 for the balance of the contract, construction contract,
So-
the $10,000
So
retainer.
this is one that we will clean up. This is one
Yeah.
that was on my radar. We gotta dig deeper into this because we paid stuff out of the general fund and this one's a mess.
Right.
I knew that going in.
So there, there are some issues where I was saying, you're focused on your water fund. Here's one that's got to get moved to that water fund. So
So would
that
that
could be
make that
different.
water fund, sorry, would that make that water fund instead of 129,000? Another 37 onto the deficit? Or is that 37 right there added into that 129?
No, it's not, because it's sitting in a separate
So it's
fund.
about $166,000 in deficit,
Correct.
making me feel really good.
That's why I said, don't focus on that number just yet. And
Okay.
then, I don't know what the solar project is. It's overspent by $61,000.
That's the one on the dump.
Correct.
Yeah, it's the one on the landfill.
What did we spend there?
Yeah, I thought you received benefits for
We
it,
did
right?
receive, rent.
Honestly, that's all convoluted to me, but, cause I really don't understand that.
I wonder if something got miscoded to it.
Something must
Or
have,
it's
because
because we had to do cleanup. Did they give us money for any of that cleanup?
Right, there was a cleanup issue with tires.
Not
and stuff.
$61,000
No, I
for
thought
it.
it was
Well,
more like
what we
30.
can do is on this one, instead of guessing, we'll run
We
a
can look.
detailed
Yeah.
transaction report for the next meeting, so you guys we can get. we can
Yeah,
get-
so it's
Oh, we
just
can just
one.
figure it out
Detail for a
internally.
lot more money.
I mean, and they
So
haven't.
it's just one that's got to go somewhere, right? It can't just be sitting
Yeah.
out here negative, or it's got to get revenues to it, or it's got to get revenues from the general fund to offset this to close this fund. So we'll look at that, but these are the things that this fund is overspent by $79,000, $7,900.
Months of that.
Was
Months of that.
That's
that
the
the
scope
the
sidewalk,
sidewalk?
and that's the town's cash match.
Okay, so then if it's a cash match, it needs to go back to the general fund as the match. It can't sit out here as negative, right? Because this fund doesn't get combined with general fund. So as you're looking at your general fund balance, it's not accurate because you're sitting out here with a negative fund balance that should have been offset by something in the general fund. So this is the importance of kind of going through these funds and consolidating them, that you get the true picture of what your fund balance in your general fund is. So then I think
there is no one.
Joel and I
then
both
you
at the
got
same
your
look on our
Basin
face.
Street improvements.
No.
That's also deficit spent.
I'm just looking at, we're not gonna have any
No,
surplus
no.
So
once we consolidate
Yep,
all this.
FEMA, which is gotta sit by itself, that's sitting at, a significant deficit, which we know you'll get funding for. So that kind of sits out there.
Well,
As long as
maybe.
it's current.
We have some for last year.
So, but you told us earlier when we had that requisition for the state for Lincoln Road that we haven't got yet, we count that as a revenue, even though we haven't
We
got it
need
yet.
to, Chris needs to get that to be able to put in the receivable then.
But this 145,
Hasn't been billed yet to FEMA.
That's
So
the
we-
engineering for Briggs Hill.
so we can't call that a revenue, even though we think we're gonna get that.
No,
No,
you don't
we're
want
not
to,
gonna.
not till you bill it and they say you're ready to requisition the money. So the key is requisitioning the money to the funder is when you book that receivable.
So even that one with the state that we put in Valerie put in January. We don't know we're gonna get all that, but we had to count for it. Am I correct in saying that or not?
Right, you need
Yeah,
to,
you're
you need
correct.
to book the revenue, and if you're requisitioning, I would assume you know what they agreed to pay you from your requisition, so.
Oh, what they agree to pay us and what we get is never the same.
Right.
West Street,
In fact,
Pine
the money
Street.
we just got, they declined some of the expenses.
For Pine Street. Yeah.
So then then your water department needs to be taking on those expenditures. So your
Right.
water department's fund balance and, budget status isn't accurate. That needs to be combined if they're not gonna pay those out. I show your forest parks and those grants are deficit spent. This one is as well. So I'm not sure some of these at the end here. I don't know what they are, so I didn't consolidate.
That's probably our match, right, for that project?
For which,
This is the local hazard mitigation plan.
right.
So that's the town's match.
Actually, I think that's, we just haven't, we haven't invoiced for it.
So, in a nutshell here, Darlene, not to wrap it up, I know you got more to do, but you guys in the background, Sharon and Chris and you got a lot more to do, not here at a meeting.
Right, for
Correct.
financials, but we also need to understand, are these projects still in play? Are there requisitions being done? Is the project complete? Because if the project's complete, then these are big impacts to your general fund balance.
And these are
And
things
that's what
that
is
the
my,
four of us can work out.
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
then, okay, so that's that. I want to just show you quickly the budget status report. So let me just see if I can get to it.
Yeah, I think if we can set some time aside for the four of us to sit around the table and run through these questions and run through those details, I think we can tie up a lot of this.
Yep, then we need the board's decision to move that money. We can't just move it without their decision to move those, to clear up those funds.
But we can create a list of what they
Right.
are and what our recommendations are for which ones to close, which ones to move, which ones to
So
leave.
this is a little bit more of the
Can you zoom again,
consolidation.
Darlene? I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you zoom again?
Increase
Oh.
the size.
Yep, sorry, okay.
Oops.
So just to clarify, Darlene.
Thank you.
Procedurally, so what's the difference between something that is a journal entry adjustment versus something that requires select board approval to be done?
So where you're
Administrative.
moving funds, you're moving funds and fund balances between funds, the board's got to make that decision to close that fund and to move that money you're giving, because it's going to overspend your general fund budget to give those deficit funds. If they are still deficit spent, they're having to basically overspend their general fund to pay down those fund balance, deficit balances in other funds.
So the surpluses we think we've had made out of actually been
Surpluses, right.
Wonderful.
So ignore this top one here, that this is part of, you have 1,600 accounts, so it's been a little tedious to make sure I got every single one with the right number, so I apologize. That one you're not using anyway, so I would I make it inactive. But basically what we did is right now, well, when we first started, and Chip changed this a little while ago, you had highway at the top of your financial records, and that's a little odd. Usually all property tax related stuff sits at the top of your financial reports, and then highway sits below that. That's typically what you see, and that's how an auditor kind of audits you as well. So we consolidated and moved. We changed these two numbers here that bring to 00. That brings it up to the top of your budget status report. And we made the highway 00110. So it's still sitting in your general fund, but it's in a format that's going to be easier to pull reports. So these are gonna be all 0, 0, 5s are your revenues, 10 is your taxes. All tax related stuff is going there. For some reason, your budget includes school. That's unusual. You shouldn't put the school number in your budget. You should only, this should only be town related.
Well, we collect it all. Darla,
Yeah,
we
but it's
collect
not
it
yours to manage and it's not yours to budget.
We have to pay it.
It's
That's a
basically.
payment.
Sit on your
pass-
balance, it should sit on your balance sheet. It shouldn't, everything should, related to the school should sit on your balance sheet. It has nothing to do with your budget you're managing as the town. You're only billing, you're not managing. So everything should sit on your balance sheet in a liability account. As soon as you bill, that sits out on your balance sheet, you pay from your balance sheet, and it never touches your budget. Because again, this has nothing to do with your budget as the town. So that's something we can work on as we go, but license fees and fines will all sit here in the 15 department. Reimbursements to the town will be the 30s, is what I'm suggesting. Rec department revenues, again, see here, the rec will be 45, just like they did when they were in their own fund. So at any point, Sharon or Chris sees 45, they're gonna know that's rec related. And they're gonna be able to pull reports by that. Rec
Hold up,
should be,
Darla.
yes.
Darlene, hold up. Valerie's got a question for you.
So in the reimbursements to town, there's the bottom line of tree planting. We are likely to get various grants over the years for tree planting, but but it's a grant funded thing. Is there another way that we should be coding it as a grant source, or because I don't know?
What do you,
And then
you
also-
have to report out on that grant separately? Is the funder requiring you to report to
And there'll
them?
be different grants for different years, different amounts,
Yeah, but
different
you don't want
scopes.
to set up funds for all of that because that's, you can run it by GL code and just print out those 2 GL codes and give that funder the same report. If they don't need you to restrict the fund balance, you don't want to set up a fund. It can remain in your general fund. So then here I just consolidated rec all of their activities to the general fund. It's all part of operating your rec department. Rec is usually not anything out on its own. It's part of the general fund. So what I did is I made their programs come within their fund, within their department of 45. Again, it's a little even unusual to have rec be in its own department, but I know that Chris said that was probably important to you, so that we left it that way. Then we separated out youth center. Whoops, sorry, this should go 46, not 47. That's my issue. So I will fix that. So that's your header, and that will be anything related to the youth center revenue if you feel like that needs to be separated, and then potty.
Youth sports or you?
No, well, that gets confusing. That's the hub.
That's a hub.
But we also have, above that, we have hub food as 545.15.
So that's where we maybe need a little more, I need little more clarification. These all sat as separate funds.
So what'll happen with
consolidated
this
them.
is the next step is Sharon and I will go through as well and help Darlene clean up these one-offs. So we're like, that's not where that belongs. You'll see in the revenues, in the expense side,
Yeah.
there's Bristol Sports stuff that's under teen center where it should be under rec.
What's HH events, guys?
Holly Hall.
Holly Hall.
Wouldn't you put youth center revenues just as part of
Yeah.
545?
I
Yeah.
would, but I wasn't sure if you needed it separate for any other reason.
In all your budgets, you break it out. You've always broken it out for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's sort of silly in my mind.
I would put it together.
And just create its own line item.
Yeah,
So
it's under,
it'd be
if it wasn't part of
45.
rec department.
It'd still be 45, yeah, it'd
Yeah.
still be the
Same with
line would
pottery
still be
studio.
there.
And
Yeah, exactly.
we can clean up these spaces.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
5 pound fence for yards.
all
Yeah.
of this will be a little easier. The other
I'm
thing
just-
that I did was I took out all these slashes. You had a lot of slashes that I just felt was hard to read your financial reports because everything would be something, something slash, something, something slash, and it was just really kind of hard. So your miscellaneous revenues are like your interest and all like Lister education, that kind of stuff can sit, it's all part of the general fund. So we'll clean up some of these. Some of these you aren't even going to be using in the grant section. FEMA, we really.
Oops, hold on. We lost it.
What happened there?
Are you hacked again? You told us we weren't gonna.
Oh, it's still going on.
It's still,
It
yeah.
did that just pop up?
Just,
I
click back on your.
got-
Where are we going? Go back down on your
Switch.
Zoom
Hit the
icon.
switch. It's still,
Well, you guys.
it's still
Okay.
normal on
Okay,
the
we'll take a
screen.
look.
Yeah, so it's just on that
There you
main
go.
screen.
So I gotta,
I'll just pull it back. There we go.
There we go.
I have
Okay, you're
I have
back.
a question on, for the group here.
Mhm.
Miscellaneous revenue, we've taken in $48,000 in miscellaneous revenue.
So what happens is you guys will often have things come into your cash receipts and you don't know where to put it, so you stick it in this account called to be redistributed. So this we have to analyze and move it.
Yeah.
I want to get you away from that, but I'm trying to be little baby steps at a time because it's a lot. But
Okay.
we want those accounts set up in cash receipts. We don't want you to be using that because last year that never got moved. So it's not doing you any good by everything going to this one account if we're not looking at it and figuring out where it really needs to go. So that's, yeah. So we'll work on those things. Those are kind of like internal accounting things we can work on. So, and then you'll see, so now everything above here is related to the general fund because I've organized it before. If you were to look at your financials right tonight, you would see general fund, and then in the middle of it's highway, and then recreation and listers is after it. It's, it didn't flow easy.
Yeah.
But now all your general fund flows with the 0 zeros. Your highway or your public works will have 10s. So now they sit just below the general fund. We didn't make them their own fund, but we can run reports as if they were. So you could say, just show me 001, anything related to 10. And then it will show me in one single page, what does your DPW look like? Revenues and expenses, and it will all be there, and you can see what's happening with highway without having to do a lot of manual adding and subtracting and moving things around. So that's kind of what this is here. And then these other grants things, again, these are not being used, so they will be collapsed and you wouldn't see them. I just left them open to show you what's going on, and just in case this grant revenue, you budget some of it in highway. I'm not sure what that's for. If that's the matches that you're talking about, which could be.
We get an annual appropriation every year, grants and aid through VTrans, and it's different every year. This past year, it was $12,000.
Right, but you have a fund for that, so you shouldn't budget it here, right? You have a fund for grants and aid. So that's where this is like, you're doing kind of one thing one way and another the other way. You're expensing it and putting it in a fund, but then you're budgeting it here. So you're kind of not being consistent with how you're budgeting and how you're putting stuff into your financial records, because that grant match then should get moved to the grants and aid account. And that's not happening.
Yeah, at some point if the four of us can sit together, it would be useful to kind of go through all these different grants and figure out where they should be grouped. Because, for example, the two brick ones, one is the a 100% grant funding for the update of the local hazard mitigation plan. Maybe that's a public works thing, maybe it's not, I don't know. The other one hasn't been spent yet, yeah, that's for a scoping study for stormwater on Mountain Street. That hasn't been initiated yet. But then there are other things, sidewalk scoping studies and other things coming along that are sidewalk related. Do they reside in the public works umbrella, or are they something somewhere else? I don't know. So that's something we can, I'd like to sit around and just kind of hash that out.
So then what we talked about, both Chris and I, and then Chip and I, about your general fund personnel. Like you have it split out to every department, where it would be just easier to have one general expense personnel, and then each line will show us who these salaries belong to. So I consolidated admin salaries, and so each of them will have their own line item, but they're within the general expense personnel, along with the FICA Medi expenditure match for the town, workers' comp, health insurance, retirement, everything's in one section of your financial records. So, and then meeting and elections, I need to fix that and work with Sharon a little bit about that. So we'll come back to that one. Town committees, tax abatement really isn't part. You had this as, I forgot what it was labeled. I relabeled it to town committee.
Tax refunds, I think it was.
Yeah, abatements are the BCA, but you know, conservation and then energy committee expenses. So then your listers, what I left, so in the general fund, you're gonna find, I'll go down here to skip down this. We made an admin office expenditures because it seems as if you don't make each department sign out when they order supplies. They just go to a cabinet, they take the supplies they need. And so how you are tracking it really isn't even accurate unless they were to buy something special. So we just made it admin office expenses. And so, you know, copiers, computers, electricity, also down in here, telephone, gas and oil, they're all, that's fire, sorry. There's one that's general admin that has the same.
I see one is street lights. Shouldn't that go to public works?
Public safety. I don't know where to put public safety in here.
So, you know,
Yeah.
my thoughts are like fire, I kind of left because it's a separate building, its own telephone, its own utilities and such. But the general fund, when you have one building, how are you accurately really distributing that electricity to all the departments? It's really one building that has 1 meter of electricity.
Well, we can,
We have 19 accounts. Holly Hall is a building by itself, Town Hall is a building by itself. The street lights, depending on, they all have different meters.
But currently in the current budget, we allocate like 3% to the listers, 2% to zoning, 5% to admin. There's a little.
Not for electricity.
No.
There's
electricity just a general?
Yeah.
Supplies.
Supplies we did, it was all those.
Yeah.
Computer.
So
Supplies was more, if they wanted toner or whatever, then it got charged to the department, but as far as pens, pencils and all that other stuff, no.
so what's left for planning department, planning and zoning?
Right, they just have, I think it's their, let me find them, hold on. I think that's.
Do for planning and zoning is your special paper for the permits and stuff.
Yeah, and even that,
They
yeah.
order that themselves.
Isn't much.
But
So
otherwise,
we'll find it, hold on just a sec. So
Yeah.
then, we gotta talk a little bit about this. I think that's the town hall related, or the Howden Hall, maybe?
Howden Hall.
Howden Hall. So, and then professional fees would be throughout the entire general fund. Those professional fees usually happen, not by specific departments.
Now, some of those are like dues or membership fees. The Regional Planning Commission is an annual allocation. The Vermont League of Cities and Towns, it's a membership fee.
That's still professional fee, I think.
Professional fee for the general fund,
I think what Valerie's asking is like that as a county regional planning. That's planning, so should that be budgeted to administration or to the planning budget?
Well, not to the planning budget necessarily, but we have a separate section called appropriations or dues or something like that. But anyway, I don't know.
Well, Darlene, it's getting late. If you want to wrap it up.
This is where I just think consolidating, making them into their own kind of department and running it through that way is going to make your reporting a lot easier. Like I said, we can, if you're okay with consolidating, Chris, Sharon, and I can work on this a little bit, like cleaning up a lot of these and like, does this make sense here? Does it not? Why? But I think get away from like really getting into the nitty gritty of every little department getting pieced out, because it's adding more work to Sharon's plate, having to, code all the bills that way. And it doesn't always make a lot of sense because, if the listers aren't in, 2 months of the year, are you giving them a reduction in something that is billed to the town? No, you're giving them that allocation no matter what, but so it's not really an accurate of what that department's doing anyway. So let's consolidate it and make it just easier. So these are my thoughts of just making it a little easier to read your financials and being able to have Chris and Sharon be able to run reports much easier than they have been able to do in the past. And it consolidates your down to 23 pages on your budget status versus you were 93, I think, when Chris and I first looked at this.
So I'm just real quick, the Public Works line there. So if there's one there for gravel, one for winter sand. So he would still code that bill with that same number, but would that be consolidated more?
No, it would be this. What I did was I took and made 50s road material. And and these other little things, sorry, I thought I had saved this one that had the 51 subheaders going to be non-road material, even though culverts is probably road material, so we can change that. But all this other stuff, so that we can run a report. If he wants to see, we can run a report on the department of 50 that is all related to his materials, and that it's gonna stay consistent throughout all the funds.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Any more questions for Darlene?
Well, I just want to thank Darlene for all of this work, and I can imagine it's taken a ton of time to wade through.
Yeah, it's just because it's, you guys have a lot of things that I think this will, once we get rid of all these zero accounts too, and this, once we get done with this, I'd say we ask the auditors their opinion. They're coming in 2 weeks anyways, and then this, I think, will really reduce your budget process significantly for this year, and then we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, you've kind of opened our eyes.
Yeah, very much so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darlene.
Very much.
I'm not sure I want to say thank you, but
No, it's all good. It's good.
And Darlene, we can chat again this Friday and go through more of this. When you're
Okay.
ready.
All right. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take a deep breath. Okay, number 7, consider rescheduling the November 11th select board meeting due to holiday and adjusting other meeting.
I don't know, I don't get that holiday off either, so.
I don't either.
It's Veterans Day, not Memorial Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
No. I mean, so it doesn't bother me if we.
Want to move it to the 4th next week?
Well,
Because we
No, we
already
can't.
got the informational meeting.
Yeah.
right, so, well, the suggestion is since as I noted in my report, since we're meeting anyway on the 4th, and things that were intended for tonight's agenda obviously didn't fit, so they've kind of moved over to the 4th, so the 4th is evolving into a regular meeting night anyway. And so, because the 11th is a holiday, I was suggesting, going to the 18th and bypassing the 25th.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so it's still 2 meetings in November, but,
the 4th and the 18th instead of the 11th. and 25th.
correct.
Well, the 25th, yeah, it's like, yeah,
That's the short week.
it's a short week.
Yeah, because of the holidays.
Thanksgiving's late.
And, so December turns out to have 5 Mondays. So, and some
Yay.
holidays too. So what I'm suggesting is by bypassing the 25th of November, and if we meet instead on December 2nd, that still keeps them 2 weeks apart. And we meet on the 16th, and if needed, the 30th, or probably the
Well, being
30th.
budget season, you probably will.
Exactly. And so it might take some pressure off of January. But it still keeps the meetings 2 weeks apart, kind of avoids the holiday crunch. It kind of bookends them a bit.
So we're saying the 4th and the 18th of November, and then the 2nd and the 16th, and possibly the 30th of December.
That's my proposal or suggestion.
And then,
How are we starting at 6 or at 7? Or 6:30, or what?
so you said December is gonna be 2 and 16?
Yeah.
And possibly.
The 30th possibly.
Question mark, okay.
I don't think it should be a question mark. I think we should schedule it. We're gonna
Right.
need it.
Especially
I
given
agree
the
with you.
presentation you just received. Yeah.
The 18th.
Recommendation 0% increase of all across the board. I don't know if we
But
got money. Was that-
Hopefully with that frequency though, they can be manageable time agendas.
So 18th, what time?
Well, you had previously agreed on 6:30.
Okay. So
Okay, so
6:30.
6:30 for all of them?
But we've shimmied with 6 o'clock just to accommodate.
Okay, and then the second at 6:30.
The 16th
And the 16th.
and the 30th.
16th. Yeah. Okay, so not on the 9th. When is your last day, Val?
The 20th,
Okay, so you won't be here on the 30th.
correct.
So the 16th.
Okay, we all set with that? Or we gotta make a motion to just so schedule. We do have to.
That might be good. If everybody agrees and it works for your plans.
To everybody's thought. I entertain a motion if you,
I make a motion to accept the meeting change dates.
through the end of the year, right? That's what you said? I thought.
That is what I said.
Okay, Michelle or Jessica or Peter, want to second that?
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Don't do that.
We still have to meet, you know.
Just, I'm trying to get it all on my calendar
No, I know.
before we
Okay,
leave.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stay, okay. Finalized town administrator job description update.
So Ian had prepared an updated version based upon last meeting's review. I have not made any adjustments to it.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine.
I made some adjustments to it.
Of course
So
you
now
did.
you made adjustments to your own adjustments.
Here, I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
If I can find it. There you go. Nope. Hang on. 290.
Was Jill going to come back on for number two?
Jill emailed.
Okay.
She's concerned about that hack might infect other computers, so she did not log back on.
Okay.
But she shared it by email.
Okay. My thoughts were, and suggestions were, add the project management portion in, since we didn't have that at all.
I thought we had caught that in some of the other topics, do we not?
We didn't. So that wasn't.
I thought I had, yeah. Thought I read it.
Because this is the live version that we edited last week, and there wasn't anything, and there was nothing in the original town job description specifically related to project management. There's a small little thing in skill and abilities, but it was not detailed, and I think we needed detail.
So it's a whole new section.
Correct.
Bruce raised his hand.
got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
So in this section where it talks about degree, some other places I've noticed that they have or equivalent professional experience.
Or
Is it-
lifetime experience or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah,
Lived
something similar to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about that a little bit before in the executive session part, which also dealt with the town administrator description.
All right, so let's talk about that now. So that would be experience here.
Because some people might not have gone to college, but might have gained a boatload of professional experience through personnel management, budgeting and other kinds of financial acumen.
The school of hard knocks.
Yeah, that'll
They usually
do
use the word-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll do it. They usually use the word or
So
equivalent.
it's usually up in the education part
Education
though.
section.
Okay.
Yeah. Is where you would put.
What would we like to put? School of Art.
Or equivalent,
Lived experience,
Life and lived or something of that experience.
Other places have used equivalent professional experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's use that.
Let's go.
So, and some of the training that you can get, professional training, isn't necessarily through a college, but would be equivalent to college level. There's continuing education credits, but not necessarily college credits. So I think that also comes into play with the equivalent professional experience or training. I'm not sure what the best wording is, but there is definitely some out there.
Right, no, that's very good point.
Yep, yeah.
What do we want to add to this? Instead of, we need a little bit more instead of just 3 words. Master's degree is preferred but not required.
Equivalent professional
Something.
qualifications
Yeah.
is a credential that is considered to be the same as a professional qualification for a specific role.
So usually it just goes bachelor's degree, blah, 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 comma, or equivalent professional qualifications or experience.
Okay.
You want to take out the master's degrees. Yeah.
Well, so you could do this, right?
Yeah.
Move master's degree at the end.
Yeah.
Master's degree is roughly equivalent to 10 or more years of work experience. Shit, I got a master's.
So after bachelor's.
I have a PhD. How about that?
Here's a doctorate then.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but.
You don't think I do? Prefer to put it there.
No, I mean, I don't think a master's
Okay.
is equivalent to 10 years of work.
Well, how about that?
experience,
Master's
maybe
degree is
2.
preferred or equivalent. How about that? Equivalent professional qualifications or experience?
You're gonna have to
You wanna
pick something
flip-flop 'em.
because you've
Yeah.
got political science or period, a
Oh, yeah,
master's degree,
sorry.
something there.
My degrees are in natural resources conservation and urban and regional planning. Go
Well, so
figure.
do you want to, yeah.
You can say after political science or related fields.
Yeah.
I would have failed political science. Flames.
I would have pulled my hair out in that
Yeah.
class.
But you learned so much about the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
Intimate details of those Chinese coffins.
You know, if you show your codes, you don't copy it, you don't delete all those like hard returns, so the other one comes up above.
Wait, show the codes, what does that mean? Oh, I see,
Like you
yeah.
show like all your
Yeah.
returns and your paragraph marks.
Right. Is that better, or do we want to flip it back? Equivalent professional qualifications or experience or a master's degree in something?
Well,
I
because
almost think it's
master,
better as a separate, your master's degree is a separate sentence. You
Yeah.
should end with experience. A master's degree is preferred but not required.
right, exactly.
Okay.
Sounds right.
Because then it makes it sound like you need professional qualifications or experience for a master's degree, but we're saying
Oh,
it's
yeah.
preferred, not required. So it would be bachelor's degree in blah, 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 or related fields, or
Are you gonna
equivalent.
say a master's degree in public administration, like you did a bachelor's, or just a master's?
No.
So they come with a
There we
master's
go.
degree.
That'll eliminate a lot of candidates right there.
Right.
Okay. All right, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else, people?
Well, so we've got the project management part.
Mhm.
Is that okay with everyone? Because I think without that, we run the risk of no one will be doing that.
Right. And if all things go according to plan, we have current capacity a little bit distributed, but that can change.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And we haven't confirmed that, the distribution yet. We know that the planning and zoning might tackle some, but it's on a very small scale. But we don't know about the other.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna accept that.
And again, as you see the change in the environment, we can change this job description.
Yeah. I added fund accounting. In financial IQ.
That'll eliminate a lot of people.
Well, but I think it's important.
Yeah.
It's something that we need, and if another person has understanding, I think that's a positive. And then I just added Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, just more sort of detail on the technology side.
Well, I fail out.
It's a good thing I'm leaving now.
Well, it's, these are
Luckily, it's
suggested.
with not expertise and
What'd you say?
yeah, all your tech stuff is familiar with, not expert in, so it's.
Yes, right, right. Has the ability to turn on a computer.
In Open Outlook.
Yes.
Read emails.
Do people like the fund accounting or are
No, that's
hesitant
fine.
about that? Okay. And that was it for the changes I had.
Okay.
All right.
Significant changes, that's gotta go back for another public hearing.
You guys wanna I'd entertain a motion to accept that, to get it started in the
So
7 days and things, job announcement.
Well, so we have, there's this and there's the job advertisement, which I can show you
It's
too.
separate.
Yeah, this is the
Right,
description.
right,
which
that's
is
the
far more
description,
detailed,
yes.
which is what we needed to work on. And then let's see. The description, where did that go? Okay.
you do have a motion in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a motion in a second yet.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
All right, so let's do that
I'm sorry.
for that, yeah.
So we should
All
vote
right,
on
so
that.
let's vote on before we go to the job announcement.
Yeah.
Let's vote. It's all one motion, so we're not in
Right.
one motion, it's all one description. So there's a motion, and a second to accept the job description as corrected. Any more comments for the board? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stay, okay. Now the job announcement.
Have you done one? I know you mentioned it, you were working on it, but have you done a, okay.
No,
Okay,
didn't have a
good.
chance.
All right, so here's the one I did.
I had it open on the screen, but never had a chance to get to it.
Essentially, this is an amalgamation of the longer
job
job
description.
description. Yeah,
Mhm.
breaking it into an advertisement.
You quit moving that damn thing up there,
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
gonna come over there and smack you.
I've already read it. I'm ready for the second page.
I read slow.
Yeah, but this takes, it shortens obviously everything was part of the job description and makes it a key responsibility. Should we let Brett in?
I don't
Is that
know.
actual-
I thought
is
he
that
was already
Brett?
in.
He
He must have gotten out.
I'd like a little more.
I'm switching devices.
I'd like a little more.
Oh, it is Brett, thank goodness.
Ian, I'd like a little more after daily operations on my vibrant.
Yeah,
I wanna make our community top more than the word vibrant. I want the word vibrant in there. The dynamite or whatever. I don't know. I'm looking for a word here, people.
Yeah.
What's wrong with vibrant?
I like it, but I want a
Yeah.
little more.
A little more?
Where are you?
Here.
Daily operations are vibrant community. I'd like a little more than just vibrant.
We could swap out kick-ass.
Fast growing, I don't know.
Engaged, I could spell.
You have a collective, you can throw in there.
Dynamic and fast-growing.
Yeah.
Spirited, lively, vigorous.
There you go, see?
Full of spirit, energetic, animated, sparkling.
Going mobile. he says.
Coruscating,
Going
coruscating?
I was looking at synonyms.
I was just looking for one more word.
Full of vim,
well,
vim
let's-
is vigor.
That's good. What do we have on the town website? Let's take a look here in terms of our description.
Electrifying.
We have a vibrant and dynamic community.
There we go. Dynamic
You
and
want that?
vibrant.
All
We'll
right.
just swap the order and make it sound new.
Spirited and vigorous, that would go well.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like they're just gonna be doing jumping jacks in their office.
There you go.
Thought you said dynamic.
You did.
Yeah, not engaged, but I thought you said it.
What?
You said
I said
dynamic.
dynamic.
That says like dynamic.
No, it doesn't.
It says engaged.
Says engaged, agree.
I don't know what you're looking
I
at.
just changed it.
Well, it's not changing it
Oh,
up there.
weird.
Well, as long as when you update it,
Hit
will
the
say.
refresh button.
No, it is refreshed. Oh, that's weird.
What doesn't matter, we
It changed
trust you.
its dim up there now
Yeah,
too, and
I
it was,
know.
it was.
It's probably because I moved away from it. Hang on. That's weird. Okay.
Now,
We trust you
ads-
that you're not trying to sneak engaged past us.
No.
Ads are not typically this long.
I know, it is really
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
It's not,
It
it's
is
not
quite
changing
long.
it on you.
Yeah, and,
I'm wondering if the key responsibilities part could be collapsed into like 2 or 3 sentences.
Well, if,
We can
I
take that
could,
over.
briefly share
Oh, you
the
have one?
screen of what the original one was 7 years ago. Which I have a copy of.
Was it any good?
Well, it's different.
These
Okay.
ones.
It has a different orientation, different focus. So, let's see. Okay, so it's basic stuff, population
A
and,
growing, vibrant community.
yeah,
Here we go.
but it talks more about some of the internal elements rather than what we're looking for.
Mhm. But then it's
Why
a
don't-
detailed job description.
Right.
So you could still have the bigger
Right,
thing available.
oh, absolutely, definitely would,
Due
either
to the
one of
lack,
them would.
due to the time crunch, could we have you and him kind of massage this, get it tightened up and bring it to our, just a quick report or quick approval November 4th meeting?
Sure.
Is that possible for the board?
Yeah, is the time crunch me going home?
Well, no, I mean, I like that part of yours too.
I
I don't
mean,
know if we
it
need
also, it says just about everything you need for an advertisement, but then all this other stuff is more what's in the
I
job
don't know if we
description.
need to say 35 paid on call, I think it just said
Oh, that's
paid
true.
on,
But-
paid on call for.
Suggestion, in the past, you've had to see the town website for job description.
Mhm.
Could say that too.
Right, yeah, this one would, or what, either one would, yeah.
So the detailed job description is available on bristolvt.org.
Mhm.
Actually, you should scrap all this and lock them in your office, not let them retire.
I think Brian would be over here. No, he doesn't have a car right now.
And a long
so
walk,
Can you send this to me and then we can work on,
yeah, yeah.
because that needs updating because it's got grant writing in there and stuff.
Oh,
like
right,
that, so.
yeah. So, yeah, that was
Cool.
way back when.
Okay,
Okay.
But you see
Yeah,
the
the
difference.
deadline to apply is gone by.
I made it
Might
though.
wanna change that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, what's next?
Finalize the planning and zoning administrator's job description update.
You better bring some coffee with you when you start doing,
I brought tea.
when we start doing
Twisted
budget. Because there are nights we don't get out of here until 11, 12 o'clock.
I like budgets though.
What's your?
So I have not made any adjustments to,
Can you bring that
Yes.
up real quick? Or
Yeah.
not yours?
Not, I can bring it up, but I can't do it.
and I talked with AZ about the water allocation letters and that was very agreeable.
Did you make any changes?
Can't remember.
No, I don't see no comments.
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only comment I have is after listening to that budget report, I'm not sure I'm ready to go full time. I don't know where the money is right now. I thought last year when we tried to do budget season was, we didn't know if lines were correct. Well, we really don't know now. But, I mean, I don't wanna
But we
cut it
should know.
down.
I mean,
We should know.
that's why we're going
We
through
need
it.
it.
That's why Chris.
We
is
need
there.
it. It's not like,
Yeah.
It's not a waste.
It's not a funny thing.
It's an eye-opening.
It's
It's a reality check.
What's your thoughts on this, people?
Yeah, I think this looks solid.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the revised planning and zoning administrator job description.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any more comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And I presume that includes approval of the hours.
Part of the description.
That was part of the description, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
But I guess AZ's title will change.
Just planning and zoning administrator instead of zoning and planning administrator.
Well, it
You
changed.
gotta plan before you zone.
Exactly. One of course the other.
Number 10, Michelle?
Mine just goes to deputy zoning, I don't have any. Just, you know.
Okay, item 10, water commissioner hats. Consider request to abate one water connection fee for the 68 Pine Street subdivision project Bouvier. Joel Bouvier is requesting on behalf of T&M Bouvier that one of the 4 new water connection fees, $500 related to 68 Pine subdivision, be abated or credited because one of the sites, lot 2, was previously connected to the system from the old Pine Street water main and presumably paid a connection fee at the time. Lot 2 is now connected to the water system from the new distribution main under the new subdivision road.
there was.
The house had its own.
Yeah, but don't you
Right,
apply
but you
for
have 4 more lots after the house.
Right, but the old garage had water to it.
Oh.
Where?
Okay,
Off that old
Under the ground.
delivery. street.
Where?
Do
I didn't pull up, I'm sorry, I dug the foundation up. I didn't pull a water line up anywhere.
I was gonna say, was there a meter and a shut off?
Not to my knowledge, but there was water to it come from the old that runs to Plank Road.
And I think, did Jill send an email?
Came from that line was disconnected years ago.
Right.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned that it was connected to the old Pine Street line.
Yeah.
I thought it was, but after doing a little more research, I believe it was hooked to the old line that, runs to Plank Road. And my next question is how to get that easement pulled. There's still an easement across my property.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, that there must be an easement because that line was there, but I dug both those barns up.
I thought that pipe you dug, that's
That-
laying over that big long pipe.
That was a drain.
That was a drain,
Yeah.
okay. I stand corrected then. I don't need an abatement then.
I mean, I would have, I found the power that wasn't shut off.
Right.
I would have found the water.
No, I thought it was water. I apologize, and then I don't need the abatement, but I will ask later on. There is,
I think you need to hire, we talked about this before, that you need to hire somebody to extinguish that
Okay.
easement.
then I have
It's
to,
not
If
a
the
town
town,
thing.
if the town's willing to extinguish it, if it's a town easement.
it's not a town easement,
not
it's
a
to the resident on Plank Road.
Right,
Right.
so
So I have
the
to
current
reach out to
property
the-
owner
That's
needs
all
to
personal.
extinguish.
Okay,
Right.
all right,
Right.
then,
I thought you were saying it was
Well,
a
so-
town easement.
So Jill said, She says, regarding the abatement of the connection, 4 new connections were made in a new 2-inch water line with 4 new curbs that will be maintained in perpetuity by the water system after it passes the pressure and bacti test.
So this is the existing one right here.
Correct.
See my,
So if you have 5 lots.
One got done in October of 22 when they did it, or 23.
Okay, so that's the fix.
That's the fix.
All right, so it's not, we're not gonna
We
have
did
some
4.
random one.
No, that one,
Okay.
that one was an existing one, and that's why I
That's the
said there was
existing
no.
house.
Okay. good.
I thought there was one to the barn because
Got
there
it.
was
All right.
water in that barn.
and
I stayed correct.
this is the lot 2 over there. That's lot 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at some point, it could have come right from the house, who knows?
It could have,
Yeah.
or it could have come off that old Liberty Street going over to Lake Road.
Yeah.
That's been shut off for, well, no,
years.
it hasn't been shut off for years. It was still active, but
They didn't have 8 cows after we unactivated that.
the Plank Road water line was put in when?
90s,
80s, 90s?
90s. Okay, number 10 is just disregard.
Okay,
Okay, review of meeting
A
minutes.
review of the meeting minutes.
and those are the ones I did.
The August 12th and September 23rd.
Those are the ones I sent, you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we accept August 12th and September 23rd minutes with,
Okay.
I don't think I made any
August
changes.
12th, you said, Michelle?
August 12th, yep, and
And
September
and
23rd.
September 23rd. I received the October 14th on Friday, and I started to do the October 21st minutes, thinking I could just whip those out, but it turns out I'm gonna ask Carol to do it.
No whipping?
No whipping. I'm
Wait,
done
isn't
with
she
it.
doing them, isn't she doing them normally?
She
Oh, you were
is, but
just-
that
you
was
were
a
gonna do
special
that.
meeting, and
Got
I
it.
thought it was gonna be
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
enough, because it was a
August
short
12th and
meeting.
23rd.
No.
But then I thought,
There's a
as I
motion, do I hear a
started.
second?
Yeah.
Second, Jessica, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Or anybody else got any more corrections besides Michelle? No, okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay, accounts payable and liquor
Did you
license or
say-
tobacco license.
Thank you.
Yeah, your
No.
tobacco,
No, there wasn't.
the accounts payable is $119,845.83. Okay. Select board roundtable. Oh, let's start with Peter. Jessica,
I don't have anything.
Ian,
I have some personnel things, but I think it's better for executive session.
okay, that'll be next meeting. I don't see anything down below, I'm gonna executive session.
I thought we needed to continue for
We
the,
can continue from.
Oh, can we?
Yeah.
Michelle, you got anything?
Yeah, the only thing I want to ask is, do we have a policy about no overnight camping on any of our parks?
Yeah, they close at dusk.
Okay, because I think we need to put signs up, because I went by the one down off of 160
Sycamore.
Sycamore Park, and there was a camper park there for a couple days. I mean, and I don't go by that way very often, but I was like, I don't really want them parking there and
Right.
camping. I don't want to encourage
Well,
that.
North
so-
Prairie Rock also had a camper there for a while.
Hey, we took care of that when it was brought to our attention.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think if we just put up a sign, it will help too.
yeah.
Oh, it certainly will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have people pitch tents at Eagle Park on occasion.
Oh, I know.
I mean, yeah, I agree. They're not
I don't want
public
them.
camping areas.
So, I mean, the signage could be camping by permission only,
Mhm.
and that way it does allow you, like, if the Boy Scouts wanted to go to Eagle Park and camp for the weekend, you all could authorize so much
Okay.
to use.
That's a good suggestion.
Or by permit only or something like that.
No, the
you
rec
know.
department has the ability to authorize overnight camping.
There we go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
or anything else?
Well, they better have the little piece of paper in their hand then when you show up, Bruce. That's right.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
All right, I have nothing. Okay, town administrators report.
Just wanted to, well, I already mentioned about Briggs Hill Road being closed. We had a meeting, a Zoom meeting with the prospective owners of the property, new owners of the property where the slides are along Briggs Hill Road.
New owner?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, because they were selling that. I saw that.
Uh-huh, yeah,
I
that was
didn't know
very
that.
interesting. And they are aware of what's going on. And so the current plan is, because their driveway is right near the lower level of the where the
The
street light is,
Mhm.
that the barricade is going to be above their driveway.
Okay.
So, they'll
There's an
still have
actual
access.
driveway right
There is a driveway
Really?
there.
Yeah, we did an access permit here a year or so ago.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Actually, they did
2021.
say that the driveway is not where it's supposed
Yeah,
to
it's
be.
in the wrong
either.
spot.
Right, the current one.
Yeah.
So they're
I
aware.
don't know
Moving
that- I don't know that it was ever put in. They applied for the permit. There
Right.
was access to the property there, and I don't think the
I don't think it's a real
was-
I
driveway,
think
but I
you're
saw it's
right.
just kind of rough
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I agree. And so they're aware of that, and we'll keep folks informed about how that progresses. We're having a very interesting conversations, I suppose, with FEMA, now that the Briggs Hill area and Lincoln Road are both affected by the July 2023 disaster declaration and the July 2024 disaster declaration, and the fact that Lincoln Road is a federal aid highway. And so FEMA does not cover anything affecting Lincoln Road except debris removal. So we will begin discussing or trying to work with the Federal Highway Administration about dealing with the blocks that were installed along Lincoln Road to prevent debris from Briggs Hill from crossing into Lincoln Road and making a mess. So.
You mean whether they're gonna cover them or not?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And,
We had
and
$250,000, didn't we have in people,
Yeah.
debris removal?
not quite.
Can we document that?
No. So we're trying to navigate the fine line between what's Lincoln Road and Federal Highway versus what's still associated with the Briggs Hill slide, because the July 2024 storm created expanded the damage happening along Briggs Hill Road. So that's an ongoing conversation. It's complicated, but and I put it out there that we hope to, in either November or December, try to gather Briggs Hill and Lincoln stakeholders around a table and just try to hammer out what might be the options for Briggs Hill, alternatives to Briggs Hill. And I don't have a clue what that might be at this point, but maybe somebody at the table might, and we might be able to sort something out. We're still trying to figure out what type of funding and how much and what proportion might be applicable to a new alignment. So we're still sorting that out. Different subject, back to water. We spent a fair amount of time last week on updating the water connection application fee, because the current application fee has been around since who knows when, and does not do an adequate job of informing applicants of what they need to provide for a connection to the new system. So we've spent a pretty good amount of effort last week. I think we'll be able to polish that up this week, get
What
that
about
out.
the water ordinance?
Well, that hopefully will be on the November, one of those November meetings.
Well, I knew you guys were working on it. I hadn't,
Yeah,
didn't know if you've
yeah.
done it, finalized it.
And we're also, I think we're pretty close, perhaps even by tomorrow, all of the fee and fee schedule updates that were done. I think we've got all that neatened up onto a single thing that we'll publish, put that out on the website. So both of those new things for the water system will be available.
Okay, anything else?
No.
I actually do have one thing.
We'll buy that.
Thank you. Board
Next
chair-
meeting.
Board chair's discretion.
No,
I want you all-
because it's out of order.
I want you all to sign on to the Newport Daily News. That's in North Country, Newport, Vermont. And they have an article on how they mismanage their water and sewer fund. It's a good article. They didn't set the fees high enough, and they overspent this and that. But after tonight's thing, just.
I don't wanna read that.
It was a good article, newspaper, so that's all I'd say. So any other business correspondence?
I don't think so. We did get the formal extension of time from FEMA for the fishing platform, Eagle Park, but it turns out it's finished. And if you haven't seen it yet, the new railings and the new arrangement are pretty interesting. So we haven't figured, we haven't scheduled yet a demonstration of the removal and whatnot, but one of the next steps is to order the closed signs, closed for the season, do not enter, blah, whatever they're gonna say, but we haven't ordered
Blah,
them
blah,
yet.
blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
In quotes, yeah.
State of the law.
Liability language.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
South Pleasant Street, Middlebury.
Read the
Vermont,
small print.
Attorney's offices, and kind of put all that stuff.
You want a
in.
Darwin Award? Enter at your own risk. Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, that should do it.
Okay, I guess we're gonna go back in, I don't, executive session, for a moment,
We're gonna do a continuation.
or continuation.
Yeah.
Quick question, Valerie, since you said that was complete, can we send out the sergeant check?
I would like to, when we have the, I'm wondering if I could just hand it to him when we have the demo, which might be this week or next week.
As long as they're willing to wait, it's been sitting here since last time.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Okay, nice to meet you.